Hello. Welcome back to Tokyo House Party. Hello. Welcome
Hello,
back to
we're
Tokyo House
back.
Party.
So's Momo.
Hello.
How is everyone
Welcome back to Tokyo House Party.
in chat?
You,
Unmuted or muted?
you have something
Unmuted or muted?
unmuted. Something unmuted. Something unmuted. Something. Is that it? That was it. That it?
Is that
Nope.
it?
Nope. That was not it. That was it. That it?
Is
Nope.
that it?
Nope. That was not it.
Uh,
Nope. That was not it.
okay.
Oh wait,
I'm
is it me?
gonna close it out all together and
Wait, is it
not
me?
be able to see chat for a little bit. Or, I just closed. Did it work?
It was me.
It was you.
It was
Okay.
me.
Friends, it's always me. So I am feeling like it's always me. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Listen, it's not a stream without some sort of audio, some sort of technical thing that happens. Look, this is Twitch. This is
I'm gonna bring it back. I'm
yes.
trying to get it right away.
Okay,
Okay.
so look, we're gonna rewind. Chat, you're here. You're gonna pretend like that didn't happen, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say hello. Welcome to Tokyo House Party.
And Moshi Moshi from Momo, who is so glad that I'm not making a mistake right now in the tech. Look how unhappy she is.
Just
Look how
not
unhappy
paying
she is.
attention. Yeah.
She's so unhappy. But yes, welcome back to a new Tokyo House Party. Hisashiburi. It's been about a month. I'm gonna let Momo free range dog. Go on. Okay. So, with all that, we're back.
Yes.
Momo looks the happiest. You know, I feel like you're being kind right now. Momo tends to look the grumpiest, but you know, she'll take it. She'll put it in her pocket. In her dog pocket. So yeah, welcome back. We hope everyone's had a good month. This is a cool month and kind of part of our show. This is Hinamatsuri month, or it was earlier in March. And so usually at the Japanese Culture Center and the Arts Foundation, we do some kind of program about women outside the box, inside the box. This one's very outside the box. That kind of talks about women in Japan in some new way. And so here we are once again today with a program like this, talking about Onnagata and Takarazuka. And I am very sure these are very different words that are maybe not part of everyone's vocabulary yet, but we will definitely provide some context for that. And just to get us rolling, I just wanted to note that our team at Tokyo House Party has been working super hard. And I wanted to give a real thank you to some new team members we have that maybe you all don't know about because you don't see them. But thank you so much to Robbie and Sai and Van, who you do see touches of here and there. But also someone new who will be joining us eventually, Casper. So you've seen Casper on past Tokyo House Parties, but hello to our like hidden team out there, and thank you so much for all of your help.
Absolutely.
You know. So yeah, I guess on the theme of Girls Day, Hinamatsuri, just to note that Van actually will be joining us at the 9 o'clock hour as he always does. And on this spring kind of a theme, he will be doing a cherry blossom set that's going to be, I think, out of control cool. So it's like sakura fubuki, like this like snowstorm of cherry blossoms kind of thing.
So you've had an exclusive preview. Is that what you're saying?
I've had an exclusive text exchange.
Got it. Got it.
But it sounds really cool and you won't want to miss it. So that will be coming up after our chat today. Any updates from you, Derek?
Updates from me.
Yeah.
Not in particular, other than I'm still just toiling away in the background, exploring conversations for other future episodes of Tokyo House Party. We are working at trying to figure out new ways to continue engaging with you folk at home, especially those who have continued living in remote lives, figuring out other ways to just bring the community conversations to you and things that you can keep along with you. And so, yeah, I don't want to I guess, reveal too much, you know. But yeah, we're working on some stuff.
Yeah,
We as in us and Casper and Sai and Robbie. So yeah, more things to come in for those of you who enjoy being on the internet and interacting in those spaces.
absolutely. So thank you again, everyone. I guess a good place to start would be, does anyone in chat know these terms, Onnagata and Takarazuka?
Right. And
You could
well,
there's you can guess out there.
yeah.
Hello, Dr. Joe. Yes, maybe you do know what that means. If so, feel free to loft out some ideas where we can always like come up with a more common collective definition. Lara, let's hear your let's hear it. Booyah Shonen, yeah.
Yoshonen. Some exclamations there. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear that y'all already are already familiar. I think I had mentioned to you earlier, but I've always been familiar with Takarazuka, adjacent to other people who were really passionate about the well, I don't want to reveal too much, but
Well,
those who are really, really passionate about Takarazuka and learning from it, learning about it from them has always been a joy. It's something that still now I would love to see. Um, yeah. Ray says, it's my first time on Twitch chat. Not really sure how it works. Wanted to be here to support and have always wanted to see Takarazuka and Onnagata live. You were doing Twitch chat for the first time very, very well. So kudos to you and thank you for being here.
yes. And also for all those people who subscribed last time, thank you again. And just a gentle reminder that your subscription really does a lot for us and helps us push things forward and get cool guests. I figured it was you, Zeta. So, that being said, I will just jump into a little bit of a precursor to the show, just to kind of give us some foundational understandings of what Onnagata and Takarazuka are, where that comes from. And as you probably have already noticed, we have some really special guests with us tonight that are able to illustrate that much better than I can. So my very brief introduction will be just that, and save your questions for them because they are truly it's a once in a lifetime experience to have them all in this chat, and so I'm just so grateful for them. So yeah, how about to just get me to stop rambling? I will share my screen and pull up something for you.
Something.
Mm-hmm. Something a tid and a bit. Oh, I need permissions, Derek.
Permission. Okay. Let me work the tech magic here. That is Zoom.
I'm not allowed.
There it is. Participants can now share screen.
Thank you. Okay. Present. All right. So yes, you've seen this before. Thanks to Sai, who created this promotional image for you all. And these are our guests tonight, and this is Acting Like a Woman. And the reason this episode is called Acting Like a Woman is we're talking about performance arts in Japan that are really driven by gender performance. And so we have Onnagata and Takarazuka, which are kind of two sides of the same coin. Can't I advance? Thank you. Let's start with Onnagata. And I'm starting with Onnagata because it is a much older term that's been used and kind of innovated over the years, I suppose. So Onnagata, I think most people are familiar with it in kabuki theater. Kabuki theater, originally did allow women at some point, but female actors and actresses were banned in 1629, and this was due to prostitution. And it's kind of an interesting and nonlinear road that follows, which is women were banned, and so men played the role of men and women, and the actors who were assigned to play the roles of women are called Onnagata. So prostitution didn't go away, though. A lot of new new forms of prostitution happened within the theater. So lots of new rules came into kabuki anyway. But onnagata are also in traditional dance. So it's not limited just to kabuki. So that's important to note. And our guest today is a grandmaster, traditional Japanese dance instructor and artist who has been trained as an Onnagata. So just to note that as we meet them later. But let me give us a new screen. Yeah. So again, yeah, Onnagata have been around for a very long time. And I think it's kind of compelling. A lot of times you'll see them in Japanese prints and assume that this is like a really beautiful geisha or oiran or something, whatever the image happens to be. But it's often you can tell pretty easily because of this cloth that's on the forehead of the image on the left. And that's because, again, to cut down on prostitution, there was a rule that men in kabuki plays playing the roles of women needed to shave their head in that area to be less appealing in some ways.
Mm.
But instead, they put these really lovely silk, they're called boshi, often purple, but boshi on the top of their heads. And that's how you can kind of know from the prints that this is Onnagata being represented here. Um, but yeah, so they were born out of necessity, but then really became an art of itself. And I think what's so important to note about Onnagata is that for the longest time, let's say you were going to watch a very popular show and learn new trends, like what are the celebrities wearing right now? What's the new in vogue kind of language people are using? And so it really was these individuals that defined that for women in Japan. They would go to the theater and see, what is the new kimono, what's the new pattern, what's the new style of speaking, right? And it's so these men who were performing this gender that really defined that in some ways. So it's such an interesting topic to me. And these two prints that I've included here, I just wanted to give you the example of like what that boshi looked like, but also this image on the right here, these are ones from 1794 and the others from 1955. And I think this is such a stunning image. I just love this portrait that is captured here by Masamito Oita and Ota, excuse me. I just love it. I think it really kind of captures this real beauty, and I don't know. I wanted to share them both because they're just very different depictions of this art.
So when you talk about the kimono and things of that nature, it's sort of like the defining pop culture of that time.
Yeah,
This is the
yeah,
kimono that's in right now. This is the vernacular that's in right now. To be able to,
totally.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like pop culture of the time.
Hmm.
It's like exactly, and kabuki and dance and these kinds of arts where people would flock to see what's new and be entertained. So it was so important.
Yeah.
It's still important, right? But yeah, so we can ask Yoshinojo Sensei later a little bit about how these performances were decided, like what makes a movement feminine, how are these chosen, and these are great questions for him later on. But for now, we'll press forward. I wanted to note that this, of course, isn't something that's just in the past. We will meet someone who is still a dancer today. But also, I wanted to note one of an Onnagata that I am so taken with. This is Bando Tama Suburo, and he is kind of just extremely prolific and has had a very long, successful career. So you can see these are some images that span a lot of different time. He's 70 now, but yeah, I just wanted to include so you could see that these actors are still out there doing it. So yeah. And this is a more contemporary Onnagata who is very famous. This is a name I've actually never heard before until I looked into this person, but
Yeah.
Tome Taichi. And he's super famous. And as you can see, like this kimono, oh my gosh, it's so lovely.
You
That's
can
what I'll
you
say.
can see it definitely well, kimono in general, it's never not really a one person job putting on, and I can only imagine how many people it takes to dress one performer for a performance, and how fast that has to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that those are some questions that we have the resources to have
Hmm.
answered today,
Yes.
actually, where you're in good company. Um, so on the other side of that, we're talking about Takarazuka. And Takarazuka is actually where we'll begin our conversation with our guest today. So I wanted to end with this on my kind of brief introduction to them both. And again, this is so brief. So Takarazuka Revue is actually a more recent art. When I say more recent, it's about 100 years old now, but it's interesting that it was founded by the Hankyu Railway founder to kind of promote visitation to this town called Takarazuka in Japan, which was extremely successful, right? Takarazuka is an all-female theater troupe. And it is so popular and very different in terms of style and performance from kabuki and nihon buyo, or Japanese dance. So I am not sure if anyone has heard of Takarazuka before, but just like women coming to see men performing as women in these other arts, the same is true in Takarazuka. So we have almost like BTS like fandom for Takarazuka, where women will camp out overnight just to get a glimpse of their favorite actor or actress. But again, they're all women. And buy tickets well in advance, and they're just so they're so beloved. So, and I think this is kind of something that isn't talked about a lot in the United States, lesser known. So I think it's really great that we can kind of introduce this to you. Hopefully, if we get to go to Japan again, you can go and see one of these performances. And the Takarazuka Revue, this is from 1940, just to kind of show you that this has been going on for a long time. It's much more, I would say, feels like Broadway, and lots of glitz and glam. And I don't want to give any more description because we have some great people who can help, but just to kind of give you an idea that this is an art that's been evolving and it's still evolving.
Yes.
There are actually different troops. There's Flower, Moon, Snow, Star, and Cosmos, and the Senka, which is the superior members group. So depending on which troop you fall into, you do different performances, and you are part of that group, and you kind of always perform together. The same leads will be together, I believe. So here you're seeing some more contemporary Takarazuka, Casanova there, and this Augustus the Illustrious one, I found this is what's opening next month. So this is coming up.
That looks amazing.
Right. It's like a historical drama.
Yeah.
And I know that Takarazuka is also extremely difficult to get into. They have people training from the age of or trying to get in from the age of 15, and maybe only 40 people get in every year. It's really competitive. These are really talented individuals. And it's also, I think that in Japan, they're trying to get a little more awareness of this in the United States and abroad so that people will come see them. And I say this ahead of something that hits a little close to home for us. So this was not too long ago. It was a is a Takarazuka performance that was the story of Abraham Lincoln, right? So all of us in Illinois, are a little familiar with this character.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say outside of these really specific kinds of themes that they have, they often look at classical theater such as Shakespeare, as well as shoujo manga. The Rose of Versailles is a very, very popular one to portray. So I'm gonna get out of here, stop sharing my screen.
I'd be lying if I wasn't jealous of Lincoln's beard line in that.
Yeah,
Just
okay. So that is something to note too, is like the makeup that's done in Takarazuka is like next level. Like
yeah.
Kardashian contouring, they don't know anything, It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Absolutely. There was a quick question from Cats Invade that says, what was the correlation between prostitution in theater at that time that they banned women as performers?
What was the correlation? So, prostitution's always been pretty popular, right? And so I think, just like a really simple answer is that was a really easy place for people to go knowing they're going to be entertained, I guess. And so that would happen there. And, I think personally, and others should definitely chime in on it, it's also a way that, women were excluded from things at times, but after that, they also had to put a restrictions on the ages of boys who could be Onnagata, because that became another prostitution problem. So yeah, I mean, it's no one answer.
Right. Absolutely. I think that was the only question from chat now. However, shall we transition to some of our introductory videos that we have for both of these topics?
That would be great. And I think this is so wonderful because I'm showing you these images, and I'm sure that maybe on the side, a couple of you have Googled what this is, because you're going to come up with so many wonderful photos. But actually seeing it is key, so you can really get an idea. And we are starting with Takarazuka. And before we introduce our next guest, so we have some videos for you so you can kind of take a peek at what this actually looks like.
Yep. So to give you a heads up, each video is about like 30 to 40 seconds. And after we play these, we will take probably a very brief break to welcome in our guests, and then we will come back with new faces and questions and conversations for you all. But without further ado, here are a couple introductions to Takarazuka. Let's go.
A rare and unique theatrical company composed entirely of unmarried women. In our over 100 years of existence, we have introduced famous shows to Japan for the first time, as well as performed a great number of original musicals as well. Throughout the years, our performances have appealed to people of all ages and genders. Ours is a beautiful and fantastic world, brought to life by the all-female performers. With a lavish stage and gorgeous performers, the touching music and exciting performances, you'll find yourself enveloped in a wondrous dream.
Japan Traditional Revue Welcome to Takarazuka 雪と月と花とミュージカルピガール協奏曲シェイクスピア原作12夜より喜劇12夜の世界をパリピガールを舞台に描き出すミュージカルです。皆様ぜひご覧ください。
Hello.
We're back.
We are back. I hope the very brief segments of Takarazuka gave you an introduction as to what we're about to dive into as far as conversation. To note, the last one we only shared a little bit of because it's very much more of a contemporary one, if that's correct, Rika-san, as far as like the stage production and the sort of concert theming to it.
Yeah, and I think we had mentioned earlier that we have Casper joining Tokyo House Party a little more sincerely into the future, who is in chat right now, and noted that as Retrofort, everyone, but noted that it's much more modern than he was expecting, and it is very, very modern. Yeah, and I think it's such a divergence from Nihon Buyo and the other conversations that we're having today about some of the classical dance and performances from Japan. So it's a really cool juxtaposition, I feel. But as you may have noticed, we have two new guests with us. And they are joining us live from the Japanese Culture Center right now, which is kind of our home away from home. So we're together in some way, yeah. And I just wanted to give you a little introduction to both of them, and then they can introduce themselves. I guess it would be on the right of yours, of that shared screen, is Kawaguchi-san, who goes by Kei Kawaguchi. And she was born in Osaka and then moved to Chicago in 1970. She's been here working for the Japanese American Service Committee as well. Perhaps you've taken a cooking class or two from her. But prior to passage, she works at the Takarazuka Fan, which had been published for the newspaper, the All Japan Takarazuka Fan Club, for 6 years. So I'm just trying to let you know what kind of an expert we have here with us right now. So from 1982 to 1995, she worked at the English-Japanese bilingual newspaper, the Chicago Shimpo, which most of us are very familiar with. Which mainly serves the Japanese American community in Chicago. And as a writer and a photographer, a Japanese language section editor. She retired from the Chicago Shimpo after 13 years, and in 1999 joined the Japanese American Service Committee as a coordinator of cultural and community affairs. And Kawaguchi-san is such a jewel. We are so lucky to have her in Chicago here. And we're so lucky to have her on the show. As you will come to learn, she is just a vault of information on Takarazuka and such an authority. We're so grateful. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you very much.
Kawaguchi-san.
You're welcome.
And I also want to introduce Rika-san too, or Yoshinojo Fujima, known as Grandmaster Yoshinojo or Fujima Yoshinojo in the Japanese Culture Center to all of her students. Yoshinojo Sensei actually teaches Nihon Buyo, or Japanese dance, at the Japanese Culture Center. So this is the beginning of our now long relationship. But Yoshinojo Sensei is a Shin Nisei, a part of the post-war Japanese American diaspora. She is an interdisciplinary artist, choreographer, and grandmaster in the Fujima-style Japanese classical dance. She has performed her original works as part of many collaborations at Lynx Hall, the Chicago Cultural Center, the Pritzker Pavilion, and the Museum of Contemporary Art, where she premiered her full-length work, Asobi, Playing Within Time, in 2018. A core member of the Organization of Asian Arts Improv Midwest, she promotes identity and tradition through performance, as well as her teaching practice in the Japanese classical dance. She is a recipient of the John D. and Susan P. Dykeman Fellowship. Oh goodness, I'm not going to say this right. Drassi, a resident artist of 2019. She's received residencies at Ragdale Foundation in 2019, High Concept Labs 2018, a Lynx Hall Artistic Associate Curator Resident, 3 Arts Make a Wave Artist, the Chicago Dance Makers Forum Lab Artist in 2017. She is an amazing woman. I hope you can all feel this right now, because I'm not done. Yoshinojo Sensei's curated series Beyond the Box, launched in 2017, and centers on female performers and creatives. Her own dance investigations alter the traditional pedagogy of Japanese dance with humor and subtle transgressions by way of questioning ideas of role and identity. currently pursuing projects at High Concept Labs as a fellow. The main project concept is Kurokami, emerge, if I'm saying that correctly. And all of this wonderful tidbits aside, Yoshinojo Sensei is such a resource to us today, and she'll be with our conversations throughout, both with Kawaguchi-san, Shiratori Sensei, and Fujima Sensei. So we're so grateful for all of her help. She's really been a tremendous help in pulling all of these things together. So thank you so much, Yoshinojo Sensei.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, so I guess to get us all started, if any of you wanted to introduce yourselves beyond the many words I just shared, please feel open to.
I think you said everything already.
Okay, okay. All right, sounds good. Well, so yes, we're here to kind of start a conversation about Takarazuka Revue. And Kawaguchi-san and Yoshinojo Sensei, if you have any kind of opening thoughts you'd like to share, and we can kind of start digging through this archive of information that you've shared with us.
Yes, when I first time I heard this one, and I start digging into my old memory, I already told you my information is 50 years old. It's half a century already, so it's really antique.
Antique.
But I really had a good time working this Takarazuka fan group, and almost did everything that covered the news, interview, writing, take a picture, and had a good time. Good 6 years, and almost every day go to the Takarazuka Theater.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
What first drew you to Takarazuka?
Pardon?
What first drew you to, what made you interested in Takarazuka when you were first starting?
In Japan, they said that girls who live in the west side, like Osaka, Kyoto area, Takarazuka is like a miso. You have to have it once when you die, you know. So mostly everybody. I started going to high school time and with a friend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's actually a disease.
It was a cool thing to see and do.
Yes, it's just beautiful, and it's you think about all the real things in the world. You had a hard time, just put them in aside and go into the fantasy
Mm-hmm.
and just enjoy it.
Would you be willing to share? So we saw a glimpse into some of the themes for Takarazuka, and during your experience, well, I would say some of the themes that we see here in the videos were Rose of Versailles and a new one that's coming out next month that also looks really exciting. What were some of the themes that you got to see when you were originally covering Takarazuka, or just going before covering it professionally?
When I was working, I think this Broadway musical was really coming in from, I think started with West Side Story,
Oh, cool.
Oklahoma, Caruso. Those things came in and was really popular. And actually, that choreographer and director from Broadway came to Takarazuka, and they actually taught them. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds so fun.
Yeah.
I think we have a picture of the magazine that she worked for there, Derek. It's the Takarazuka Fan magazine.
Yeah, I want to note, we really want to get into the photos that we have from Kawaguchi-san. These are photos that she scanned herself. You would never see them otherwise. A lot of these materials are, just things that she's kind of gifted us to look at today with Yoshinojo Sensei's help. So we have to look at them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can definitely. I'm gonna work on bringing those up while we're chatting here. What was the name of that? Would any one of those pictures be okay to show, or
Maybe starting at one?
Okay, let's start at one. There we go.
And while we're kind of getting adjusted here, of course, in chat, if you have questions, we are here for those questions.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this image, Kawaguchi-san?
of, sorry, that's which image you're talking about? This,
The first image there.
this is the cover page of the actually magazine, like a newspaper like magazine, a
Mm.
monthly they published. Yeah. And this one actually I didn't work with this one because it's maybe 15 years after I came to this country. My boss sent to me. So,
Mm-hmm.
but style, the layout, it's about same.
What
Yeah.
year is this?
This newspaper itself was 1985,
Wow.
but I think I worked from till 70, so probably 60, 66, no, 64 to
Mm.
70. That's what I worked for.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, checking out some of the others here. I see this this very
We're at
lovely
number 2 now.
blue outfit, which I believe will be transitioning over in just a few moments to chat and everybody else. But once you have it up there, could you tell us a little bit about what chat is looking at, what we're all seeing here?
Which one? This one?
Yeah, the red
Yeah. This is the program. Was after this also 1985. I think I visited Japan, and my boss got the tickets for me, and I went to my hometown and see that things,
Oh.
and I really enjoyed it. Debut. Yes, this is the 1986. Yeah.
Oh, so lucky. You have the
This is a
magazine
show.
right there in front of you. Yeah.
I know, that's what I mean, everybody. These are like,
Yeah.
you would never see these without Kawaguchi-san.
Here, I'll switch it back just so that chat can see. If you don't mind holding it up just for a brief moment again.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That cover is amazing.
I'm pretty sure it'll be in the photos even, I bet.
That's really amazing.
I was asking Kawaguchi-san about this. Like you can see, the makeup, and it's sort of like, wow, she missed her eyes, like the eyeliner. But it's kind of like to make it look bigger, right?
Uh-huh.
No, they perform in a huge stage, and their stage theater itself about 3,000 people could they could see it. So
Yeah, let's
have to be everything have to be big. The acting, the motion, everything have to be big to show that they're fit in there.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone in chat was forced into dance classes when they were young, like I was. And then your mother does your makeup for you so that you can be seen in the nosebleed section, and it's all blue and it's all red, and you're just like, looking like a strange person.
I too have done a bit of theater, and some of the funniest roles would include being an old, like I played a butler in one role, and it had the way that they had to create some exaggerated wrinkles, and so up close I had these extremely dark lines across my face in order to convey that I was older. I was, I think, 19 at the time, so by no means did I look like an adult by around that time. But yeah, let's have a look at some of these other photos here. I believe this one, it has less of a, I would say, cabaret dress than when looking at the other, and looks a little bit more traditional. This could you tell us a little bit about what that performance was? What might that performance have been?
I'm sorry, but I totally forgot about it.
It's okay.
I don't remember the title anymore.
It's okay.
Show.
Well, let's move to the next one.
This is the top performers, star of the group, the one here. All the girls who follow after her, theirs. And,
got it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So these were that you're saying when we get that image to change.
Yeah, it is the backstage. They are ready to go out to the stage. They're waiting for it.
Mm-mm.
And Skigun, yeah, that's a moon group.
Do we not have this image, Derek?
This one I see.
Should be number 3, I'm guessing.
They force them on.
Yeah, 4 people. And the last one here on the right hand side, she was the top star at the one you like, the musical, like a Versailles, that Rose of Versailles. She was the top character.
No, that one I do not have.
Oh yes,
Maybe since we don't have these photos, do you think you could maybe hold it closer for everybody?
Mhm, mhm. Okay.
Oh, that's still very, very cool.
Yes.
Wow. So the woman on the actor on the far right was the lead
Yeah.
in Rose of Versailles?
That's right. Yes.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. This one is old. The
Mhm.
few year after, maybe 10 years later, she become a star.
Oh.
Mhm.
Well, let's jump back into those photos and see what we can unearth.
Yeah, certainly. Next up, we have another. It looks like another period piece. Might be within the same performance as the previous photo.
Right. And I have to apologize this to everybody and to this girl too. I do not
You
remember
apologize to
the
this
name.
girl. Well, let's just keep going to the next slide. What do we have next, Derek?
Yeah,
Okay.
continue on. Let's see here. So
This little sailor.
next up, we have I believe they're wearing it's like a sky
Oh,
blue
some amazing
bell bottom.
jumpsuits.
Yeah, bell bottom jumpsuits.
Amazing jumpsuits.
Jumpsuits.
I don't know, like pantsuits.
That's
Hmm.
probably Shiratori sensei's pictures
Ah,
you're mixing in there. This is
Uh,
yeah,
black
that's
and
right.
white.
It
Mhm.
says it was well, give me just a sec here. It says I'm going off the file name. This one says Takarazuka male sky blue.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's
Shiratori
Shiratori sensei.
Ah,
Great. So to let you all in, we haven't introduced Shiratori Sensei yet, but she is our next guest.
Mhm.
And so you can see an image of her in action here. What year do you think this is, Kawaguchi-san?
I mean, one of the Shiratori senseis.
Mm.
I have no idea.
No, fair. Okay.
No,
I'm gonna guess
yeah.
70s. I'm gonna
Mine,
put it.
when the one I brought out is all black and white.
Oh, could you show us maybe?
You see
Oh,
this?
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just bring it a little bit closer, and then that'll be
Okay.
perfect.
Oh, is this Shiratori Sensei as well?
No, this is not.
Oh, okay. Okay.
These are all she took backstage.
Wow.
Mhm.
There should be a one with a signed photo. Who is this one?
This one is Noboru Uchinoe, and this is the last show before she leave the Takarazuka. Was
Wow.
at the state behind the.
That's an amazing photo. Is that autographed too?
That's
Mhm.
right. Yeah, she did it for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Derek, do we have that one?
I didn't have that one in the collection of photos. No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's very, very amazing.
Mine, just to be clear, my photos, they go S. They all start with an S, and then they go from S1 to 16, and those are the ones that I have. And
The one with a K on it
There should be ones with K on it.
K.
and
Oh,
black and white, all of them.
let me have another look. But Sarah, if you don't mind, if there are any other questions regarding Takarazuka or
Yeah,
the
I have
photos
so
that
many
you wanna-
questions actually. So, Kawaguchi-san, when you were back in Chicago, how did you keep up with Takarazuka?
I didn't.
You
That's
didn't.
why I didn't. I was so busy to get used to my new life in here, Chicago.
Mm,
First is language a problem,
mm.
and after 1 or 2 years, I got married and I have children. So I was so busy. And then when children get a little bigger and start going to school, that's where I started for Japanese newspaper in Chicago Shinpo. I have no time to look back.
I have to interject here too, though. Let me interject. So the Fujima school, when we would be performing, we would be backstage. It would be a festival, and you could peer out into the audience, and one of the senpai would look out, and they'd go, "Oh no, Kawaguchi-san's here," and then you could tell the tension level backstage went up 100-fold because we knew of her experience at Takarazuka, and she would see the performance in more than just the oh, beautiful costume, or how cute you are or whatever. She was actually watching your performance. So was very nerve-wracking when we knew she's watching. So,
I bet.
Not at all. No. I'm
And
sorry.
yeah, so we have a question here. Is Takarazuka regional? Wiki says it's based in Takarazuka Hyogo Prefecture. Do people travel to there or is it touring? And I think maybe you missed the very beginning. Takarazuka is named after that town because that's where it started.
That's
But
right.
maybe Kawaguchi-san, does it I imagine it travels now as well, right?
Hmm?
Does it but now does Takarazuka Review
Oh,
travel
yes.
across Japan?
Yes.
Yeah.
All over the Japan, the big city, they
Mhm.
have a different places, certain places every, so maybe 4 or 5 months at all, and going
Mhm.
from Hokkaido to Kyushu,
Mm.
yes, and overseas too.
Yeah, I feel I heard that we maybe had some Takarazuka here in Chicago not too long ago. Is that right?
Last year, March 22nd,
Oh
supposed to
wow.
have the one show, but four
Mm.
people were supposed to come here,
Wow.
and they already left the Takarazuka, but they could still sing song for us.
Mm.
Then pandemic,
Yes, yes,
everything canceled. Yeah.
yes. Derek, did you have any luck?
Um, no, I checked the We transfer file, and they
There
both
should be
contain.
two different ones.
Yep,
Okay.
both of them contain the same 16 photos starting with S.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, pivoting from there a little bit. I wonder if you could tell us what your favorite Takarazuka performance was,
Oh my
is.
goodness. Yes, I started the one with my job. No, before that, they call the marvelous. Oh, gee, how is it in English? 華麗なる戦拍子. That was a gorgeous show, and that's what award, the huge government award they received.
Well, I think, you know, the other thing that I don't think we have a photo for, unfortunately, but I know you really wanted to convey was the grand staircase.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
there is in Takarazuka, it seems like in every performance, and please correct me if I'm wrong, there's this just, you know, please describe in your detail this wonderful staircase that's treacherous and almost impossible to step on. So please tell us about that.
It's about, they call the grand staircase. It's 26 staircase, and each one about width. It's about 9 inches, and all the performers come down from the top. They don't look down at all. They go straight forward and walk downstairs, come down one by one, and the star character know it's about where to stop to show that dance, singing song. They carry little things to, shake in star shape or flower or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Wow. Yeah. And you were saying like how big is each step?
Each step's about 9 inch wide, but you don't fit your feet exactly in the side of it. Always their feet, shoes front about 3 inches out.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It's
And
terrifying, especially if you're in
right,
heels.
Yeah,
right. Girls, sometimes they wear the pin heel.
Yeah.
that would be very
Ugh.
scary.
ever see anyone fall?
I didn't see somebody fall down, but they said the jinx. They said if you fall down, you become a star. But
Oh,
not
okay. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yoshinojo Sensei is not convinced.
And not only just a staircase, but some director like to put little light bulb on it all the way, and that's flashes. So it's you take your eye too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But from audience, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah. And thank you in chat. We have a question and also a note for all you out there. If you just Google Takarazuka staircase, you'll see what she's talking about. It's a trap.
Certainly.
But we also have another question from Photography Banzai. Thank you for joining us again. And he wonders, or they wonder, if you you mentioned that you had backstage access, and how is that different from being in the audience?
It's fun, but sometimes they are all nervous or this, depending on who you are, but they're in a real tight mood. You don't bother them.
Certainly.
Yes. And when you get used to it, this maybe nothing, and they joke with each other and helping each other the costume and things.
Yeah.
But one time, I think she is Ko Nishiki Ko. She was eating ice cream, the soft one, in a cone before they are going out to the stage. And they said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." And she eat, and she went out to the stage. And the time come, she finished, and nothing on her face or anything. Went out in a few minutes, came back. She said, "I missed the whatever she's supposed to say." She couldn't. The blind couldn't talk because his tongue was so cold.
Oh no. Wow. Yeah.
Funny.
I always hear that it's not suggested to eat dairy before performance, not only
Right.
because it gets you all in the throat as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Didn't you say that you, just to reiterate, right? She was working at the Takarazuka fan, as doing the writing, the photography, and plotting out the magazine itself. What is that called? When you
Layout?
The layout. She was doing all of that, and there were how many people in this huge staff?
No, only 2 people.
2
Oh,
people
wow.
to do this,
And boss.
and the boss, right? So 3 people,
Yeah.
right? And then she was mentioning how when you get the chance to see from the side, from the wings, but sometimes you would just kind of sneak out, and you get free tickets sometimes, or
Yeah, but nothing illegal.
To be clear.
Mhm.
Right. And sometimes it's real hard to get the tickets. But if you are patient, you wait until really and right before the show start, or maybe 10 minutes after show start, waiting by the tickets box and the front of box there. And
Yeah.
sometimes cancellation tickets come in really good seat.
Mm.
I'll take your advice. I truly, for the however many times I've been to Japan, Takarazuka has been on the top of my list, and I just haven't been able to go. And I think the times I did try to go, there weren't tickets. So yeah, I can't wait. I really would love to see it. And yeah, hopefully they come back to Chicago too.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be really great.
Yeah.
I
So
think
I wonder, is there? Oh, I'm sorry, Yoshinojo Sensei.
Oh no, I was just going to sort of try to add into the segue ish, towards the later half of the show with the classical dance. I was always surprised to see, and and that's why again we were always very much more nervous when we knew she was watching out, and taking pictures of us when we danced. But you'd think, well, it was all this jazzy Broadway stuff. Okay, maybe she could see, but no, as you might have noticed on the little clips, they are doing Japanese classical dance, and they do have teachers come in. I think we can ask Shiratori Sensei too, but you have the teachers of various classical dance schools coming in and teaching them, and then they of course put their own spin onto it, because our fans don't have half as much glitter on it, but you know,
It's a shame, truly. Well, that's I feel like that's really valuable. And before we transition over to bring in Shiratori Sensei to join our conversation, is there anything else that you kind of wanted to add before we move along?
Well, see, Takarazuka is this year 107 years already. They have been, in about 1 year, 2.5 million people go there.
Wow.
Not just that, a Grand Theater, but Tokyo Takarazuka Theater and other places. They draw about 2.5 million every year. And some fans are 3 generations.
Yeah.
Grandma to the mother to the daughters. And some mother went in so much they wanna, if they have a girl, a dollar. They wanna put dollar into the Takarazuka.
Mm,
It's a little dream.
yeah.
Hmm.
I saw how competitive it was. If like however many hundreds apply every year, only maybe 40 get in,
Hmm.
and it's
Mhm.
it's
That's right.
really
800 to 1,000 students, they take a test.
Wow.
They
wow.
only take a 40.
Wow.
So how severe it is. And two
Yeah.
years, really strict training
Mhm.
in all
Yeah.
different area.
I was reading that, and maybe Shiratori Sensei can also comment on this, but that, if you are accepted, the freshman class is often treated quite differently from the senior class, like expected to take the last train and things like this. And
That's
there's like
right.
a whole, like,
That's
hierarchy as well. And
right. Even the train running and student uh, standing in the street and see the train, they bows. Maybe some uh, upper class student is in the train. Maybe not, but that's what it is. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
I've been dying to ask too. I wonder, like, I've used BTS as an analogy for Takarazuka just because I think everyone knows the fandom around BTS, and I feel like there is some similar, like, excitement and
Mhm.
a love there. But I know, for example, lots of the idol groups in Japan and in Korea, they're the members are really discouraged from dating or having significant others. And I wonder if that's true for the Takarazuka actresses as well, if they're allowed to date or if they need to appear to be single or available.
They are single and they are available, but they wanna stay in the Takarazuka. You have to. I mean, if you wanna marry, you cannot marry. They all have to be single.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
that's
thought.
the
Yeah.
one strict rule from
Mhm.
107 years.
So yeah, they cannot date. Yeah. Mhm.
Wow.
Well, maybe somebody dating. I don't know.
Yeah, they're secret off
That's
the record.
right.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
of course.
Yeah.
I understand. Well, Kawaguchi-san, thank you so much so far. We're not done though, so thank you, thank you.
Okay.
And before we bring in Shiratori Sensei, I wanted to just introduce her briefly. I think what we were looking at so far were all photos of Shiratori
There
Sensei
were.
when she
Yes.
was younger. So you can kind of have an idea about who we're going to be speaking with. But she's now a classical Japanese dancer. So she's no longer a Takarazuka Revue actress. But she was born in Kobe, Hyogo Prefecture, which, as we noted and Casper noted in chat, that's very close. It's the same prefecture as Takarazuka. And she started dancing in the Hanayagi School of Japanese classical dance at 3 years old. She entered into Takarazuka Music School as a top student of that year. After dancing for Takarazuka Revue, she received a master's license from the Hanayagi School of Japanese Classical Dance. Since then, she's been dancing and teaching traditional dance. She performs and hosts workshops all over the world, including Washington, D.C., Minneapolis, New York, San Francisco, Singapore, and Italy. She hosts lectures, demonstrations, and performances inside and outside of Japan for local businesses, including etiquette classes for traditional inns. In 2005, she established NPO Shikunchi, an organization to increase a sense of Japanese identity amongst Japanese. Since she is not only a classical dancer, but also an activist who enriches people's lives through Japanese traditional culture, which has become her life work. In 2014, she was awarded the Higashi Kunimoya Cultural Award. Apologies for my poor pronunciation there. But yes, I don't know if I'm conveying how wonderful Shiratori Sensei is for joining us today, and the very impressive career that she is still building for herself. So we're so happy to have her join us all the way from Japan.
Yes. And so to you, chat, we'll be back in just a shake, like just a few seconds as we bring in our next guest and then continue our conversation. So don't go anywhere. Alrighty. Chet, thank you for hanging with us. We are back, and we have a new guest with us. Pleased to meet Shiratori sensei. Arigatou gozaimasu.
はい、ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。よろしくお願いします。
So we are so lucky to have Shiratori sensei with us. You've already seen a few photos from her vault as well, but we'll be revisiting those. And again, as we've been saying all along in chat, please feel free to ask any questions and we'll make sure to convey those. And Shiratori sensei is more comfortable in Japanese, so we will be having both Kawaguchi-san and Yoshinojo sensei will both be helping us translate back and forth. So don't be shy. We can translate any question, no problem. So yeah, and we also had someone in chat say that they're so grateful for this conversation about Takarazuka, and that they were fortunate enough to see a performance when they lived in Amagasaki in 1978. So yeah. They're wondering about it over there. You might be muted.
誰かシカゴの方かな、78年に尼崎で宝塚を見たっていう人がいるんですけれども、ほとんどの人がまだ知らないと思いますので、新しいインフォメーション。尼崎でありますかね。
知らないです。
私も初めて聞きました。
知りません。どこの宝塚なんだろう。わからない。
we were not sure that Takarazuka at Amagasaki there any theater there.
I was thinking, maybe I read it differently too. And Mori 99 Saki, you can chime in, but maybe it's that when they lived in Amagasaki, they traveled to.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, in 1978.
That makes sense.
Went to Takarazuka. Okay, from start.
Yeah, but so yeah, welcome back, and we have the great privilege of having Shiratori sensei join us from Japan. We've had other conversations at all odd hours till now, and now we're asking her to join us at this odd hour for her, which is like 9 o'clock at night in Japan tomorrow in the future, right? So we're really grateful.
Morning. Asa
Morning. Just kidding. Yes. 12 hours and then 2. Yes, that's right. Morning time. It's morning time. Yeah. So I guess to get us rolling, anyone feel free to ask a question, but otherwise we have these really wonderful photos that maybe we could start to look at and gain a little insight on.
Certainly. And so I believe it was touched on earlier, but what we're looking at now is what looks to be like a profile collage of Shiratori sensei. ですね。
どの分だブルーの Is that a... Oh, that's... no. Oh, I see. 先生、いつ頃の写真ですが、すごく可愛いんですけれども。
ちょっともうすみません。もうあまりにも違いすぎて皆さんびっくりされてると思うんですけど。
本当可愛いのです。
まだ10代、多分17、18。
18歳の頃ですか ?First stage?
10代。
Congratulations.
10代ですね。はい。デビューして間もない頃ですね。
Because the first time we already had the stage on after the school, after training, graduated school. Yeah.
This was the first day after graduating?
Not the first day, but yeah, maybe first year or second year.
Okay.
On the stage.
Yeah.
I love your hairstyle. It's so sweet. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Another person.
No, you look the same.
先生、宝塚に入られた動機っていうのはどんななんですか？お近くには住んでいらっしゃいますけども。
両親と学校の先生の推薦というか、入ったらどうっていう。
ということは、やっぱり音楽とかダンスとかがもともとお好きで得意だったとか。
いや、日本舞踊はずっと3歳からしてましたけど、バレエとかは別にやったこともなくて、で、受ける1年半前から、歌とダンスと、バレエですね。 レッスンを始めました。は
She
い。
had both parents and teacher, school teacher, they ask her to go to the school, Takarazuka. But she did a Japanese classical dance when since 3 years old. Probably she have no problem on it, but at regular dance and singing, but before year and a half before she take a test, start having lessons.
Mm.
And you went into the top class.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So did you, when I'm going to ask in English and then you can translate, then everyone can kind of be on the same page. So my question, Shiratori sensei, when they said, oh, you should join Takarazuka or you try to, study or enter, did you want to? Did you have friends that also went? Or do you think, oh, I loved it, why?
あ
When
ー
parents recommended and teachers recommended her, but she
Mm.
really wanna go there or not?
私はあまり興味なかったんですね。
She wasn't interested.
そうなんです。あまり興味なかったんですけど、ただ芸事ですよね。歌ったりアクティングをしたり、踊ったりっていうのはすごく好きだったので、あ、こういう仕事があるんだ、ラッキーっていう感じでしたね。
She likes
はい。
performing arts
うん
herself. So she said,
うん
oh, this could be a woman's job to be a performer.
Absolutely.
はい。
I'm gonna transition to the next photo, which it looks as though you have a sort of blue what's like kind of
That
a
headdress, the
headdress, yeah, cabaret kind
It
of
looks
style.
like she's right in front of the grand stairs. Too.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Those are the stairs we were talking about. Just a glimpse. Yeah.
先生、大階段の大階段の前に立ってらっしゃるブルーのコスチューム、ブルーの
はい。
髪にカツラみたいですか？で、これ、あれかぶってらっしゃるんですけど、覚えてらっしゃいますか？出し物は。
なんだっけ、ファーストラブ？ファーストラブだったかな。
First Love。
はい、ファーストラブ。
Name of the
そう
show。
ですね。
先生、何組でいらっしゃいました？
花組ですね。
花組。
はい、花組にいました。
Group。Flower Troupe。
Is that the troupe that she was always in, or did she ever? Is that once you're assigned a troupe, is that where you stay?
最後までずっと花組でしたか？
そうです。ずっと花組です。
組替えなしで。
なかったですね。はい。
Yes, she was all the way from beginning to end.
And could you tell us a little bit about the differences between like the star and the cosmos, all these different groups? What are the difference between them?
組によって何か特徴ってですか、違うものはありますか？
今はちょっとどうかわかりませんけれども、花組が一番古い組ですね。それはそうですね。Flower is oldest. Yes. で、日本物が得意な組と言われてました。
Japanese classical play。
はい。で、星組はショーでしたっけね。ショーの組。
ダンスの組ですね。
はい。
で、星組や、Star Troupe is good dance and show。
で、月組が、違うな。雪組が芝居の組って言われてたのかな。
雪が芝居でしたね。はい。Snow group is the acting play. It was good. Singing is Moon ですか？
月組ですか？
月組歌だったから、ちょっとね、その辺ちょっとはっきり記憶に覚えてない。
Moon group is also dance and singing probably.
はい、かもしれないですね。はい。特徴がそれぞれの組にあったって言われてますね。はい。
Beginning is all up to teacher. So who is going which group?
Okay, so
yeah.
So I just asked. I'm sorry. So they have to hear, right? So it's not like there's a sorting hat and you go, you belong to the Hanagumi, right? I don't think it's no. So I asked, how are they decided to be which troupe?
分けられるんでしょうか。成績ですか？
成績、わからないです。わからないですね。
She doesn't know how they're determined which troop you are put into.
いや、わかんない。
Beginning is always the teacher pick
Mhm.
one and they divide it.
先生っていうよりも、劇団のいろんなその、役員の方って言ったら変でわかんないですけど、演出家の方とか、はい、だと思います。どういうふうに決められているのか、私たちはわからないですね。はい。
Maybe director, they look at the first stage, then they pick someone for that. And if somebody do a good dance, then some team don't have any good dancers, so they put them in there to train them. Maybe. But you have to ask for director.
As we go into the next image, I wonder if you could kind of explain, because it sounds like, you know, the different troops have different kinds of themes that they explore. Is that true in terms of like, you know, one troop will only do like certain types of shoujo manga, or you know, how they're chosen for each one?
先生、その組によって出し物が決まるときは、これはもう演出の先生ですかね。
はい。はい、脚本家の方がいらっしゃって、で多分その制作の、グループのようなものが多分あるんだと思うんですけれども、で、何をやろうっていうふうに決められるんだと思います。はい。
there was directors and playwriters. They look at what the next month who's going to play, or next 2 months who's playing where. Then they decide what kind of play or show bring up to it.
Oh, okay. Would you are you able to recall some of the different themes? We've seen a sort of a cabaret with the feather dress. Right now, we're looking at a period piece with what appears to be a drum and some it's maybe Edo period clothing. Are you able to share some of the different themes that you got to perform in?
Yeah, I'm curious about this one too.
Is the sensei looking at the picture there? Oh. 先生、そしたら次何か、そうですね、古典っていうか、ちょっとおのおの、なんて言うんでしょうね、雅楽みたいな、ものを加えてありますよね。太鼓を前につけてらっしゃる。あれは、
これはそうですね、雅楽ですね。日本物のショーの時に、こういう形で踊ったという。なので、音楽は雅楽じゃないんですけど、本当にもうショーのオーケストラの音楽なんですけれども、こういう雅楽の形、胡蝶の舞ですかね、なんかこういう形で踊りました。はい。ほとんど覚えてないです。これやったのこんな格好したんだっていう感じで写真を見て。はい。
Costume is butterfly, and it's real old ancient Japanese dance, but music is always orchestra. In Japanese, the Takarazuka is, even no matter how classic is, dance is, music is always in the orchestra, and they can dance. It has to be a Japanese instrument.
So what is this theme, or what is this performance of?
This is the regular Japanese dance, but it's butterfly. She was in the butterfly dance of a butterfly.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And so, Shiratori sensei, did you always play the role of women in these plays? Because I know we've been talking about in Takarazuka, women play the roles of both men and women, and I'm curious what your experience was in performing either or one of those roles.
先生、男役と女役両方なさいました。
はい、はい、両方いたしました。
主に女役。
はい。主に男役だったのかな。女役に転校、男役から女役に転校できるんですね。で、女役から男役は転校できないんですけれど、私は対談の1年 前ぐらいに女役に転向しました。
あ
はい。なんですけど、その前も、割とショーだと女をやったりとか、
あ、
はい、スイッチしてましたね。
先生は背が高い方ですか？
いや、普通ぐらいですね。男役としてはそんなに高い方ではないんですけれども、女役だと高いんですね。
あ、
は
she
い。
was,
で、
oh,
そ
okay.
うですね。ただ、なんか大きく見えるらしくて、
あ、なるほど。
実際の身長よりも。
あ、
はい。
大事ですね。ショーには。
はい。
She mostly the woman's roles, and then before she quit, 1 year before, she switched to the no, to the woman, no, yeah, woman from the man. Started with the male cast.
Okay, so
Mhm.
so Shiratori sensei played the roles of both men and women. 2 years in playing the roles of men and maybe a few more as women, kind of right down the middle.
No, she said that from a woman character cannot switch to the male part. But when you are playing male, you could switch to the female.
I see.
Mm-mm.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. This is the first time I heard that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why
And
is
she
that?
was pretty, not really tall for male group. But when it switched to the female, she's pretty tall for.
I see. I see. That's interesting.
わかります。
So
Ah.
I wonder when you were playing the roles of men in these performances, if you felt any challenges or what was your perspective, or what is kind of the cues that project as male in a performance.
男役をやるときになんかご苦労とかありましたか？それとも、こう、気をつけなきゃいけなかったこととか、
ご苦労。
努力さ
そうです
れたとか。
ね。個人っていうか、人によって多分違うと思うんですけれども、私の場合で言うと、声をやっぱりトーンを下げなければいけないっていうのがあって、割と私はあまり低くない声だったので、声を低くするということと、あと、輪郭ですね。輪郭が私、まだ若い頃、丸々っていうか、丸顔なので、なので、やはりちょっと、なんていうんですかね、少年役とか、そういう、だとマッチするんですけれども、男っていう形だとちょっと無理があったのかなっていうので、そういうところにちょっと
お化
苦
粧とか
労がありましたね。
ね。
はい、そうですね。はい。
The first time when she switched to the male part, she had to lower her voice. Actually, her voice is a little higher, but when it's played the male part, you have to lower your voice to talk or sing. That's one thing. And other things is her face is kind of round, so she want to make it like for boys character is okay, but for the man, not really a mannish face. So that's what makeup and things she has to think about it and try hard.
Lovely. I have just shared with our audience a different photo. We've shared some male photos that were in period piece, but now we're looking at an outfit that is in this a sky blue like bell bottom pantsuit, I believe. Could you tell us a little bit about it? It looks like you might be rehearsing for performance. Is that what we're looking at right now?
それはリハーサルですか？このショーは。ブルーの
いえ、
らっしゃる分。
これはテレビショーの、本番の、はい、ものなんですけれども、1年間レギュラーでテレビに出てたんですね、ずっと。はい。その時の写真です。
This is actually not the theater. It's a TV show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard, I heard, I heard Terubi.
He did it about 1 year for regular TV show. This 宝塚のショーなんですか、これは。
そうですね。はい。宝塚の番組ですね。はい。で、これパンツスーツじゃないんですよ。パンツスーツだと踊りづらいっていうか、実はこれ2つに 2ピースに分かれてるんですね。
Oh, this
はい。
costume is actually 2 pieces,
そうなんで
not
す。
the 1 piece.
Oh, wow.
で、
Easy to wear.
上に着てるのが、ちょうどその水着みたいになっていて、上に上がってこないようになっている。それで下にパンツを履くという、そういう形になっていて、動きやすくなってるんですね。
It's something like, yes.
はい。
She said it's 2 pieces, but top one is all the way down to crotch and then it don't come out.
はい。
Leotard.
はい。
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a
And put the pants on top of it. So,
はいはい。わかりました。
はい。
So Takarazuka Terebi, was there both performances on stage and for television for Takarazuka?
これなんか宝塚だけの専門のチャンネルがあるわけですか？そのテレビション。
いえ、今多分あるみたいなんですね。BS とかいろいろ。この頃は、民放、いわゆる普通のテレビ局の番組ということで、週に1回、ファンの方に、向けての番組がありました。はい。
This is the regular TV station show once a week for they try to catch the Takarazuka fan. They show that the show once a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What was it like performing Takarazuka for TV, and how was it different than being on stage?
だいぶ違いますか？ステージなさるのとテレビ局
そうで
のとは。
すね。そうですね。ステージの場合は、1ヶ月稽古がありますよね。稽古があって、で、みんなでこう作り上げていって、ステージに載せるっていう形なんですけれども、テレビの場合はですね、1回の収録で2週間分撮るんですね。はい。なので、1週間の間に、その、2番組分の踊り、ダンスと歌と、全部覚えなきゃいけないんですね。なので、いや、よくやれたなと思っても、今絶対無理ですね。若さですね。
若かったです。はい。
はい。
The stage show is usually it's 1 month every day. So for that, they have another 1 month to practice lessons and dance and sing and everything else to prepare for that. But for the TV show, they take when they film it for 2 shows and 1 day. So yeah, shooting for the 1 day for 2 shows for dancing and singing and everything else. You have to prepare for that.
Wow.
Yeah. So she said, probably I cannot do it anymore.
Right.
That's a hard work.
はい、大変ですね。
Yes.
はい。
Yes.
はい。早いでした。We have a question from Retrofort in our chat. They ask, do any of the performances involve any sort of stage combat or stunts?
Oh.
Everyone's
Like,
like,
何かショーの中で、なんていうんですか、ちょっとアクロバットじゃない、どういうふうに言ったらいいかな、スタンス、なんか非常に激しい動きがあったとか、宙返りがあったとか、なんかそういうようなこともありますか？危険な感じでするようなもの。
曲芸的なものはないんですけれども、ヨガで三角倒立っていうのありますよね。頭でこう倒立するという。私はそのショーには運よく出てなかったんですけれどもなんですけど、だから毎日本当にライブで三角倒立を30人ぐらいの人がそのステージの上でやるっていう、そういうのがありました。だからもう絶対に落っこちれないっていうのがあってはい、なんかすごい大変だったと、はい、台無しになってしまうので
そうですか。There's one show, I think director was enjoying, I guess, but they're all standing by the head, upside down on the head. So about 30 of them together. And if you one miss it, and everybody going to be missed up. Good thing she wasn't in the scene. But that was, yeah. It's not really acrobat things, but...
Unless you're talking about traversing those stairs, which, does Shiratori Sensei have any recollection of those stairs that...
先生、大階段でトラブったことありませんか？
はい、私はありません。私はありませんが、はい、同期生は上から下まで落ちましたね、一回。
どなたでした？
いや、どなたって名前ともわかんない。初舞台の時だったんですけれども、本当にドドドドドドって音がするんですけど、私たちは、落っこちたなって思いながら、笑いながらやって、もうどうしようもないので、もう本当に。
スマイルしなきゃしょうがないですね。
そうなんです。音だけ聞いて。
But she heard that some sound is like somebody tumbling down. And there was the first stage for after the graduation and started review. Then somebody tumbled all the way down. They couldn't, but they cannot check it. They have to keep smiling and look at the front.
Oh, wow.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they were okay.
非常な世界ですね。
そうですね。It's cool.
Bye.
Well, let's jump back into some of those photos. I know that we have a few more still, and before I just hijack all of the conversation.
Let's transition over. What we're seeing now is it's very royal blue outfit. And I'm very curious to hear about what.
ちょっとベルバラみたいな感じですね、この写真は。
はい。
ヨーロッパの兵士の。
はい。なんか、なんだっけな。そう、なんか、将軍でしたね。将軍かなんかの。
ジェネラルになった。She was in
general.
Very cool, very cool. What do you happen to remember the name of this performance? And now I'm thinking of a separate question. I'll stop there. Yeah. Do you happen to remember your time with this performance and just what was that like?
覚えてらっしゃいますか、先生、この男子物は。
確か、遥かなるドナウっていう、はい、題名だったと思います。
遥かなるドナウ。
はい。新人公演の時ですね。
はい。新人です。New. Not the debut. There's always the Takarazuka have first years and second years, third years. You go up, grade up, going up there, but up to 7th years or something, there's the regular top star play, and other young one gonna be they have only one chance to play with the same characters. So that was the time she probably played the heroes, star cast.
Oh wow, very cool.
多分3年目ぐらいですね。
3年目で新人公演ですか。すごいですね。Just third year. Really rare. Yeah. Wow.
I'm going to transition to another photo. We have a
like oiran.
Murasaki, like kimono, and it looks like that in this moment there's I'm very curious to hear about just what this performance was like. It looks like that you are reading something in this, and the costume, the background, everything is very beautiful.
オイランが小泉を読んでるところですね。
はい、そうですね。はい。
これも宝塚の舞台ですか？
いえ、これは舞踊家としての活動を始めた時のイベントの時のものなんですけれども、めちゃくちゃ重いんですよ、これが。この衣装
がね。
動
けないです。
いや、動けますよ。踊らなきゃいけない。
動かないと踊れませんからね。
踊ってますけど、はい。カツラでだいたい4キロぐらいですね。はい。
8 pounds.
Yeah, 8 kilogram, or yeah, 4 kilogram. The wig is about 8 pounds.
Wow.
It's real heavy. And this is not the Takarazuka one. After she retired as a Japanese classical dancer, they had a recital or something. So that's what she did. She's really heavy. the
Mm-mm.
costume and wig.
So I think a lot of people probably don't know what a oiran is or what kind of what this is. So I can explain, but I wonder if in your words, what kind of performance this is and what kind of role this is.
どのようなキャラクターだったかっていうことは先生、名前とかなんかついてましたですか？踊り。覚えてらっしゃる？オイラン。
踊りの名前いや、題名は形成という、
形成。
はい、っていう題名ですね。
オイランですよね。
はい、オイランですね。松の位、いわゆるその位の高い、一番トップのオイランのことですよね。はい。形成という。
Pine tree background, you see that, right? Matsu, the class of a pine tree is the highest in the Oiran, the high class course. Yeah. So that was her character.
Yeah, so for everyone out there, oiran, and I'm in chat as Japanese Arts Foundation, so I'm just going to spell it out for you. It's like this. This is the highest class of a courtesan in Japan historically. So, and you know this from all of the pins in the hair. There's a very distinctive look to this, and also the obi, which is like the sash, is worn in the front and it billows down like this. So, this is someone who is very in high esteem and very well appreciated. Although I'm not really sure if what their role is in this or the play, but what Kawaguchi-san was saying is that the background of this kind of rimpa style, pine, also connects to the high status of this person. So it's a very on theme set for this. But this is a transition from Takarazuka to Nihon Buyo or Japanese dance. So we're seeing this isn't a Takarazuka performance, to be clear.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like in our gallery photos, we do have one Takarazuka photo left to discuss. And it looks as though transitioning over now, but we have another sort of cabaret theme, it looks like, and this time a red dress. And I would be very interested to hear about this performance as well.
Yeah.
これは先生、ポッと急にあれが変わりましたけれども、スパニッシュダンスかなんか、これは宝塚ですね。
はい、そうですね。これは卒業公演の時の写真なんですけど、学校の、
はい、
カルメンですね。はい、宝塚では歌もですね、ポピュラーだけじゃなくて、クラシックのオペラですね、オペラのアリアとか、それからカンツォーネとかシャンソンとか、そういったものも全部こう勉強するんですね。はい、でその時の、一つの成果の発表として、カルメンの、これセギディリアっていうのを、歌いました。
これは歌いながら踊ったわけですか？それとも歌だけのために？
そうですね。踊ったというか、多少カスタネットをパンパンってやりながら動きました。はい。
This was her graduation performance from that's way before when she graduated Takarazuka Music School, and they learn everything classic to canzone to chanson, everything opera, and this was the Carmen.
Oh, cool! Yeah,
that's what she's saying.
Yeah. So marking the end of our Takarazuka galleries, one of the questions that I think I was resting on for a little bit was you transitioned from Takarazuka to classical. Were there, as we transitioned to some of those photos, were there any things that you transferred that you took with you that you learned from Takarazuka into classical performances?
宝塚でいろいろ何年もやってこられて、日本舞踊家として立たれたときに何か、その宝塚の経験とかですね、エクスペリエンスで今のお仕事に非常に役に立ったとか、そこから持ってきたものとか、なんかそういうものはおありですか？
はい、そうですね。途中ちょっと邪魔って言い方は違うな、なんだろうな。ちょっとその日本舞踊の専門で行くにはちょっと違った感じかなっていう時はあったんですけれども、今ですね、今になってやっぱりその時代のものが全て支えてくれてるなっていうことをしみじみ感じています。はい、やっぱり経験は宝ですね。はい。
She said when she retired from Takarazuka and start new career in her Japanese classical dance teacher or performers, sometimes the things really bother her, the experience itself, because it's different from regular Japanese classical dance in the stage. It's actually the show, Takarazuka. Yeah, is getting away. But now she stopped to think everything she learned from that stage, the experience was supporting me. Every little thing she does it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is she does a treasure for that all the experience.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if she has any thoughts on having performed both male and female roles in Takarazuka as well as uh, a Nihon Buyo, a traditional dancer, and seeing Onnagata, men performing as women and also women performing as men. This is a complicated question, I'm sorry, but if she feels there is something compelling between the two kind of gender performances that translate back and forth or are comparable.
日本舞踊、宝塚で男役と女役の両方なさって、で今度日本舞踊に、一本になられた時にやはり日本舞踊でも男舞とか女舞両方やりますよね。その上で何か違ったところとか、同じ、共通したものがあるとか、そういうふうなものは感じられたことありますか？
そうですね。私割と男と女の違いって、違和感を感じたことがないんですね。
踊りの方で。
はい。はい。で、踊りもそうですし、宝塚もそうなんですけれども、テクニックと、要するに見せ方ですよね。男に見せる見せ方のテクニックの部分と、それから心の部分っていうのが、これがうまく合うと表現できるっていうふうに思うので、テクニックなくして表現はできないし、心なくしても表現できないと思うので、はい。なので、両方のそのバランスのいい学び方っていうのができたらいいのかなっていうふうに思ってますので、あまり違和感を覚えないで、ここまでやってきてますね。はい。
She didn't feel that much difference playing the male part or female part, but now she think about it. It's a technique how to show that performing male part, but she has to have a heart. How you show that to the audience, but you have to have a understand the meaning of the dance in heart and the character itself. You have to really understand to show that in dance the movement. So they both have to be taken balance and have to match it. That's what she really feel right now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, not just the technique only, or not just understand the character only.
わかりました。I also have to ask because I feel like this is the only chance we can, and I'm so grateful. I wonder, Shiratori Sensei, if you have any lasting memories of some of your fans, of women that came to see you, or individuals who came to your shows, or maybe really wanted your photos, or what your experience was with your devoted fans.
先生、ファンの方がいらっしゃったと思うんです、たくさん。宝塚の場合も、すごいファンの方がね、女の子たちとかたくさんいるんですけれども、なんか思い出ありますか？お手紙が来たとか、なんかお届け物があったとか。非常に熱心なファンの方。
はい、本当に初舞台から、そうですね、初舞台の前ぐらいからも応援をしていただいてた方もいらっしゃいますし、毎朝こう、なんていうのかな、ファンレター、お手紙の、なんかこう、ポストみたいなところがあって、そこにお手紙が入っていたりとか、あとそうですね、差し入れをしていただいたり、いろんなものをですね、いただいて応援していただきましたね。あと、そうですね、お写真をね、すごい撮る方が好きな方がいらっしゃって、で、知らない間にかなりの写真を撮られていてですね、今で言うと、なんかストーカーみたいな感じになっちゃうんですけど、いつの間にこんな写真撮ってたんだろうっていうような写真をドサッと送られてきたことがありまして、はい、でもまあその時はねそんなに問題になるようなことでもなかったですし、いまだにお付き合いございますので。
そうですか。大切に、
はい、
写真は大切にしてらっしゃいます。
そうですね。はい、ありがたいと思います、本当に。はい。
Japan is really special compared to other world. From even beginning of a state review, when after the graduation, going to the first stage, but before that already, some people try to support her and they really stopped her. They send a lot of letters, and one lady take a lot of pictures, and when she finished this, they sent her a whole bunch of pictures to her. She didn't even know that.
Yeah.
But she keep those things, and she still keep in touch with it.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I'm always impressed by the fan base for Takarazuka. I think it's amazing. So yeah.
Is there a performance, Shiratori Sensei, that was your favorite among the many performances that you did in Takarazuka?
何か一番思い出に残ってるとか、好きだったとかいう出し物は。
そうですね。そうです。さっきお写真にもちょっとありましたけど、車争いのお写真があったと思うんですけど、2人で写っていて、私が男の子の平安の装束の形でやんちゃをしている写真ありますよ。
とても可愛い。
なんて言って、
はい。
もうあれ大好きでしたね。
あれは、
はい、もう舞台の上を暴れ回ってました。
Oh, it was a little, that picture, did you see it? With the little boy with the old man.
Yeah, yes.
Old, ancient costume. Yeah, green little pom-pom on the center. She really enjoyed it. It's whole stage. She's running around all over.
はい。はい、本当に楽しかった。
多分素のままの自分だったと思います。
that was herself.
楽しそうだね、毎日って言われましたね。
それを1ヶ月やったわけですね。
そうです。
1 month, 30 days, every day she running around the stage.
I love it. I love it. 楽しそう。
楽しかったです。
はい。楽しかった。Thank you, thank you. ありがとうございます。
So Yoshinojo Sensei, or I don't know if you all had some, I know we've been just like bombarding all these questions. If you had questions you wanted to ask too, I wanted to make sure that we didn't steamroll you.
Oh, no, no. 化粧のことなんですけれども、
はい。
男役とその女役を自分で、もちろん自分で習ってやらなきゃいけなかったんですか？
日本物のコスチュームの
宝塚の方。
宝塚のコスチューム、習うというか、なんて言ってるのかな。できる限り自分で身につけます。はい、早変わりとかもあるので、で、お衣装の担当の方は、例えば後ろのジッパーを上げてくれるとか、そういうお手伝いはしてくれますけれども、はい、全部自分で着方をチェックして、で、基本は自己責任ですね、全部。はい。
で、メイクアップもやはり
メイクアップも全部そうです。はい、メイクアップも全部自分でやります。
So I asked her about the makeup because as you're seeing, it's just so different, and that if they are responsible, and she's telling me that they are responsible to do their own, and especially when you have to do quick changes, maybe the stage manager will help with a zipper or something, right? But otherwise, you are responsible for your own. And I remember she has her own YouTube channel, by the way, talking about a lot of these experiences. YouTube チャンネルにもなんか夢を見て、それで一つ手袋がないとかなんかそんな。
そうそうそうそう。
She was telling
悪夢もう本当にそんなのはもう。
So she was on her YouTube channel discussing with one of her colleagues about having nightmares that she would, have to go on stage and she can't find one of the gloves, on her costume or something. So you are responsible for your whole setup. Yeah. でそれは日本舞踊と比べたら、全然違うですよね。It's very different from Japanese classical dance, right? Yeah.
So backstage Takarazuka, 本当に早かったか?
Speed is really hard.
Speed, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to be.
But it's
with
crazy back there, just crazy.
Yeah, you might have to
本当その通りですよ。
dodge somebody.
もう本当にバックでみんなもう戦争ですよね。わーっていう感じなんですよね。で、ステージに出てみんなホッとしてるっていう、なんかね、なんか緊張しなくなっちゃったのかなっていう感じ。
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I hear that somebody went out the stage with the slippers. So
Wow.
Kabuki-san, because you are the person on the backstage trying to get people to talk to you when they're so busy.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure you got a really good idea.
Somebody dancing in the front of the stage and kick up and shoe went off and went into the orchestra box. That kind of thing happens.
ありそうな話ですね。
そうですよね。
それでまた日本舞踊とのその区別の話なんですけれども、次の写真、Derek, if you could show the next panels where she's dancing in a black kimono with another kind of pine in the background. これ浜松の舞台ですよね。浜松ですか。
どれでしょう。まだちょっと写真が。
この男前と、さっき特典ね、出し方、宝塚で男前、男の役すると、日本舞踊でもちろんその気持ちと、ね、テクニックの設置をこうマッチングする。
これね、はい。
もう少しそれについて話できますか？日本舞踊のこの男前に対して。
そうですね。すごい専門的な話になっちゃうと思うんだけど。
Please, ちょっとだけ。
ちょっとだけね。そう、男は、要するに日本舞踊の場合は足を割るとか、それから手の構えを大きくするとか、そういうなんていうかな、大まかに言うと大きく見せるっていう感じですよね。すべてをね。だから角度だったり、そういう細かいところはあるんですけれども、男は大きく見せる。で、女は肘をすぼめて、膝もつけて小さく見せるっていう、大まかに言うとそういう感じですよね。はい。
宝塚ではそうやって男はこうする、女はこうするって何かありますか？
そう、宝塚もそうですね。男はなんて言ったらいいんだろう。どう言ったらいいのかな。歩き方も違いますよね。あと手の使い方。はい。手の使い方結構特徴的かもわからないですね。日本舞踊では男も女もこういうふうに綺麗に手を揃えてやるんですけど、宝塚の場合、男はこういうふうな形ですね。手をなんか大きく見せる。で、親指を立てるみたいな。こんな感じですよね。だからこういう雰囲気ですか？
わかります。
はい。わかりますよね。で、女性の場合は優しくこういう感じで 指をこう細く見せるっていう。はい。で、手の形はすごく大事だったと思いますね。はい。
So, okay, so sorry, you let me, Sarah. So I asked her, and she was like, "So this is getting to be very specific, esoteric question." But I was like, "Please, just a little bit." So, I asked her to make the comparison between when you're dancing Japanese classical dance and the differences that you are taught as far as for a male dance versus a female, and then for Takarazuka, is there some way that there are these generalities? So they're trying to really condense it. So she was saying, so for Japanese classical dance, you're trying to look bigger. Your stances are wider. You're trying to take up more space as a male. And then as a female, your knees are together, your elbows are pulled in, you're trying to take up less space. Where and of course it's different because there's kind of apple orange in a way. But for Takarazuka, I'm sorry, am I pushing you out of the room? for Takarazuka, she's saying that, of course you walk different. And then in dance where you're keeping, the convention is having your hands be in a certain posture and then doing your male female, as she was demonstrating, right? For Takarazuka, it was more your thumb is extended and you're kind of doing a certain man hand. And woman, you're doing it a little bit more, dainty. So yeah, so there are certain points that they seem to focus, right? That you can then sort of go, oh yeah, like the one with the Roman picture with the right man hand. Right? Yeah. And then so like the and then the next couple of pictures that we have of Shiratori sensei, right, dancing where she's in suodori, so it's not full costume, but it is obviously a male dance that she's doing, right? The stance is very, legs are spread and yeah. So I was just asking about that. I do have a next question, but if you, Derek-san, can you go to the picture where is it? It's a plain background. It's black kimono with the blue stream
Like,
in the front.
Yeah, should be loading your way in roughly 10 seconds.
次の写真をアップしてますけれども、
これは弓矢をこう引いてる形ですね。はい、弓を引いている形。
This is for the arrow and bow is pulling. That one is the second one. Yeah, that's the male part. He tried to shoot something. 先生、これは何の踊りですか？タイトルは。
弓を引いてるやつですね。追い松。オールドパイントリー。
はい。
時わずの追い松ですか？
そう、時わずの追い松です。はい。
Oh, so sorry. We're gonna keep going. So the dance where it looks like she's pulling a bow and arrow, right? She's knocking the arrow. It's the tokiwazu style dance of oimatsu. So the old ancient pine tree, right? And typically the pine is a male symbol, right? It's very strong and powerful. It stays green through all 4 seasons, right? So.
And you mentioned the photo with the more blank background. Is that a part of the same performance as well?
先生、この黒い着物を着てらっしゃる分で、後ろバックグラウンドがプレインなのがあるんですけれども、これは何の踊りですか？
これまた場所が全然違うところなんですけれども、これは、梅の春を踊りましたね。はい。これは清本ですね。清本の梅の春を踊っていますね。でこういうかっちりした格調の高い踊りをご祝儀っていうんですけれど、はい、その時は割とこの黒の紋付きでちょっと勝負着物ですね、舞踊家にとってはね、はい、を着て踊ることが多いですね。はい。
So she's saying that I've already forgotten half of it. I thought you were going to do the Ume no Haru is the dance from flower in the spring. And it's Tokiwazu style. And it's a very high class, celebratory dance. And she was also commenting that the black monsuki is kind of like your work clothes, your fighting outfit, that you're going to do for a Japanese classical dancer. It's very official. Yeah, yeah. それでこのお囃子もこれは同じ場所かしら。Oh, I'm sorry. Derek, can you go to the next one where it shows the musician and also I think the audience is also in the frame?
どちらで踊られてるんですか？お囃子の方がいる。
はい、東京ですね。東京の蔵前にあります、神谷舞台っていう場所なんですけれども、はい。はい。これは今も月に1回月例会でやっております。はい。
This place in Tokyo, Kuramae, she having once a month that performance here.
Hi.
What you see that red carpet and a musician is sitting there. Beautiful stage.
Shall we go to the next?
能舞台、はい。能舞台ですね、これね。寸法的には能舞台の寸法があるので、かなり広いんですよ。
はい。はい。This stage is especially for the no play.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm transitioning over to the next one, which should be making its way over, but what Chad is looking at now, we're visiting again with this pine tree that we talked about, except now we're looking at a woman with longer hair.
十二人へ。
十二人へ。そしてこの写真は
はい、
覚えていらっしゃいますか？
はい、覚えてます。はい。これはね、十二人ではないんですね。これはもっと簡単な形で、コーチギという、はい、
コーチギ
なんです。で、本来ならば下は長袴を火袴ですね、履くような形だったんですけど、主催者側のご要望で、はい、普通の裾引きの着物でやってくれということでですね、はい。ちょっとだから異例な形だと思います。はい。
This costume looks like to maybe some people that 十二人へ but it's not. It's only a kochigi that little bit more casual than 十二人へ.
Just for everyone in chat to know.
Yeah.
Just to let them know, I was asking, this looks an awful lot like something you often see in like Murasaki Shikibu, like
that era, yeah.
Yeah, a style of kimono where there's 12 layers of kimono. So it's a juni hitoe, so like a 12-layer kimono. And I was going to ask so many questions about this if this is what that was, because just the weight of having to carry such a thing around with you, I can't even imagine. It's so much fabric and it's so binding. But as we've learned here, that this is not what that is. It's something else.
And usually that kochigi underneath, she's supposed to wear red hakama, the red skirt, like that. But this time she just wear the kimono, a long kimono to wear. This little unusual costume matching.
Right. For the next photo, Sugi no Saishin, it says dojoji. Dojoji.
Oh, you know dojoji? Right.
But this kimono and this obi, they're so beautiful, so brilliant. This obi is amazing.
相当重いですか、このコスチューム。非常に綺麗なんですけれども。
重いです。
This is really heavy.
今赤の着物が見えてるんですけれども、 その下に浅黄色の着物を着込んでるんですね。なので2枚着てるんですよ。このレベルのものを。はい、で途中でこう引き抜きでこう衣装が変わるんですけれども、いや重いです本当に。いやこれどんどんこう着せられて、最終的にかつらつけられて、烏帽子つけられて、どんどんこう積み重ねられてるような感じで仕上がってたけど、これで踊れっていうのっていう感じでしたね。はい、まあでもね踊りますけど、はい。
Start from undergarment all the way. She have a same weight, another kimono, and underneath different layers.
Oh, wow.
And then later, when she's dancing, they put the string off and changing costume on the stage. So that's really heavy. And obi is also a lot of weights on it, and heavy wig on top of it. Then the hats on top of it. She said, "You want me to tell? You're telling me to dance with this one?"
Oh, something just occurred to me. I know that we just for everyone in chat to make sure they're hanging on to our conversation a little. We started talking about Takarazuka and we've transitioned over to Nihon Buyo. But what does Nihon Buyo mean for those who are really unfamiliar with this art? Or Japanese, when you say Japanese dance, that's not kabuki, that's not no, it's an entirely different art. And I wonder if, just to kind of introduce that to everyone, if someone could kind of briefly say, like, what is Nihon Buyo?
Great point.
一口で日本舞踊って難しいですね、これね。
難しいですね。そうですね。ミュージカルで歌と踊りとダンスがありますよね。で、歌舞伎も歌と踊りとダンスがあるわけですよね。で、そのダンスの部分が日本舞踊なんですよ。
You know the musical, that's opera, whatever, dance and play and singing parts. And also the kabuki have a playing and dancing and singing. And that dancing part is the Nihon Buyo, Japanese dance. That's started from it.
The quick and dirty explanation.
すっごい簡単に言いました。
That's it. So
just put it in chat, just so if anyone wants to look it up, they can kind of hearing the word sometimes is more confusing. So we didn't give any introduction to that really, so I just wanted to make sure.
We have one final photo that I'm just now sharing to chat, and this is taking place at the Asian Art Museum.
Wow, what a beautiful photo!
It's a very, very, very beautiful photo. I would love to hear more about. Was this a performance that was held there, or a photo shoot, or I would love to hear more.
この写真はサンフランシスコの、
はい、サンフランシスコのアイゼンアートミュージアムの時の写真ですね。お手伝いできていただいて、篠田先生、ありがとうございました。
何年前でしたっけ、あれは。
何年前だろう。5年？5年ぐらい前ですかね。
Yeah.
はい。
Beautiful.
スタッフが連れて行けなくてですね。で、それで、カツラと顔と衣装、コスチュームですよね。全部自分でできるんだったら来てくれって言われたんですね。そうなんです。だから、こういう時に宝塚のパワーがすごく強力に出ますよね。できます、全部できます、みたいな感じで。
When this performing, the sponsor said, if you can do the costume yourself, makeup, katsura, that heavy wig, everything you can do by yourself, then please come.
Oh.
So Shiratori Sensei, did you have to do this all by yourself? You had to dress yourself, put on all your makeup. That looks so difficult.
So I have to interject. So I actually was there to help her, and it was very much, I was like, okay, gotta help her. She's gonna be oiran. It's gonna be all this. And Shiratori says, I got this. She was like, no, I got this. I'm like, oh, okay. And she did it. And so I was like, wow. so amazing. Yeah, and then just like she was commenting too, this is where her Takarazuka training, where you are responsible for everything, just came in to play. Yeah, so it was amazing because I was just ready, like, okay, what do you need me to do? What should I help? And she's like, I mean, she didn't say it like that, but she
Yeah,
was so
す
cool.
ごいですね。
はい、すごいです。
Wow.
うん
I feel like it's so complicated.
すごく私にとってこのパフォーマンスっていうのはチェンジフルなパフォーマンスだったんですね。今までやってきたことで自分が全部でやるっていうのと、かつジャズとのセッションっていうのでどういう音で踊るのかっていうのが全くわからない状態で来ているっていう、なんかすごくチャレンジフルなス
You
テージ
really
で
challenged
した。はい。
performance because the basic that costume and the makeup and wig, everything else she did it, but dance itself also with the jazz music.
うん。
She danced with it. So that was really challenge
面白い
for
や。
her.
How long would it take by yourself or with help to get dressed? Like how much time does it take to put all of those layers on? And
どれぐらいかかりました？
だいたい1時間 about 1 hour.
Oh, 1 hour.
that's not too bad. Actually, I feel like that's feels doable.
You're talking to a Takarazuka person saying 1 hour, that's our 5 hours.
For half
い
day.
や時間かけても綺麗にできないんですよ。時間をかけたから綺麗にできるってことではなくて、はい。
It's not necessary to spend the time
うん
to come out with a good result.
Mm.
Sometimes it's, well, I think she have a technique. So
なるほど。うん。That makes sense.
when this white makeup, when you touch it and make a mess up, right? Usually. 先生、日本語の白塗りの時はあまり触りすぎると汚くなるんですね。
そうですね。はい。もう本当に最低限のことだけ。はい。やり直すと汚くなりますね。
Yeah.
は
If you
い。
touch it too much, it may really mess up
うん。
makeup, Japanese white makeup. Yeah. But that
Yeah.
one training too.
はい。
Mhm. Yeah, how do you leave the neck? How do you do that by yourself? I can't imagine. For chat, the really beautiful white makeup is, of course, you see it on face, but if you're ever to kind of see the lower neck area, it's specifically left out in like a particular kind of like a V design because that's the most Yoshinojo sensei, how would you say most
同じのことですかね。
It's supposed to be a very sensual
sensual, that's the word I'm going to look for. I didn't know what word I wanted to use there. Yes, most sensual part of the body, so that's left without makeup. But in order to paint that yourself, I can't imagine how it's done. Like you'd have to like grow extra arms.
先生、後ろ、首の後ろのところ、非常に日本の着物を着たときに綺麗になりますよね。V シェイプでその後ろ白塗りになる。あれも、あれです。あれはどなたかにやっていただく。それとも先生ご自分で。
自分でやりますね。はい。
Oh, she does herself.
Oh my god.
多少はお手伝いいらっしゃいましたら、誰かいたらお願いってやりますけど、いなかったらもうしょうがないですよね。自分でやらないとっていう感じです。
If somebody's there, may ask, but if
Oh,
not,
wow.
you just have to do it yourself.
Wow, wow.
Mm.
Well, that marks the end of our photo gallery, but is there anything, are there any upcoming, well, we are still somewhat in a quarantine, however, are there any upcoming news or performances, any additional information that you wanted to share with our audience tonight?
ですね、今コロナのパンデミックでいろいろ大変なんですけれども、だんだん解除されてきてますよね。これから何か先生、どういうかな企画というかプランしていらっしゃいますか？何かやりたいこととか、で皆さんにちょっと宣伝しておきたいこととかなんか。
そうですね。 今ももうやってるんですけれども、その月に1回神谷舞台っていうところであの、ちっちゃな会をとにかく継続するということですね。はい。自分自身に対する挑戦でもありますし、やっぱり皆さんに広めていきたい、見ていただきたいという気持ちもありますので、できるところからとにかくコツコツと積み重ねていくっていうことがもう今は大事なのかなって思って、はい、やってます。はい。
She had been doing it for the once a month performance at you saw that stage
うん。
last time the picture, and she does that for monthly, once a month, little by little. In this time, everything is abnormal, but she has to continue. That's what continuing is the power.
うんうんうん。
Yeah. So that's her plan. So the people know that she's doing, she's acting.
Well, hopefully maybe at some point you will put those on the internet for us to enjoy too, and we can see from a long ways away. But I'm sure that they're missed by everyone.
チャンスがあったらぜひそういうので、インターネットでも見せていただきたいってみんなに、そういうふうに。
はい。
はい。
はい、ありがとうございます。
We have about 40 minutes left. So just to make sure we have some time to speak with Fujima sensei, just thinking if there's any other final questions that we have for Shiratori sensei or about Takarazuka for this moment. We do have someone in chat. Let's see. Yeah, not a question, but they're just saying that someone in chat is saying that they're very grateful to all of you for joining us, that they were very fortunate to see several kabuki performances and study Nihon Buyo with a Hanayagi teacher in the US, but they have never had the opportunity to see Takarazuka, so it's really wonderful to learn more.
非常に楽しまれたそうです。宝塚のいろんな写真とか先生のパフォーマンスをこちらで見られたということで感謝していらっしゃいます。
よかったです。喜んでいただけて。Thank you.
Yes, and thank you everyone in chat for sticking with us and coming out with some of these comments. It's really wonderful to hear that some of you actually have seen Takarazuka before. I'm pleasantly surprised, and keep sharing some of your experiences with us. We'd love to share them with everyone else. So, but otherwise, I guess just like a tremendous thank you to Shiratori sensei for joining us across space and time, and all of your time talking with us in the past too. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and your experiences with us. ありがとうございました。
本当にありがとうござい
Thank
まし
you
た。
very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, chat. Well, please say thanks to Shiratori sensei for joining us. And we will be right back with more conversations about performance art. So don't go anywhere. Use that time to stretch your limbs, grab a snack, because there is more Tokyo House Party soon. Be right back. All right. Thank
We're
you for
back.
being so patient. Yes, we are back. Tadaima. And we're changing topics, and we have a new guest with us, and I will pass the baton for introductions, because I know there's a few things to be said here.
To me for introduction.
To
I
you
understand.
first, yes.
Yoshinojo Sensei, I'm so sorry.
Right.
It's become that hour. So, yes, we have a really special guest with us, as everyone here has been a very special guest so far. We will not disappoint moving forward. So joining us now is Grandmaster Shunojo Fujima, who earned his professional stage name, Natori, from Shusai Fujima, training as a live-in apprentice. He taught in Tokyo for several years before coming to the United States. Shunojo has directed his dance troupe Shubukai in Chicago for the last 45 years, performing for educational outreach, cultural programs, and festivals. In addition to traditional performances, he has choreographed pieces with music ranging from disco, hey, experimental, opera, taiko, ozashiki shamisen, and an ozashiki shamisen. Among his achievements, Fujima has received the Japan American Society's Cultural Achievement Award in 2011, the Japanese Foreign Minister's Commendation Award in 2013, and the Community Service Award from the Asian American Advisory Council of the Illinois Secretary of State Jesse White in 2018. Shunojo has trained 11 dancers to Natori, which someone will need to explain for us in a minute, 3 of which have attained Shihan or Grandmaster status. He continues to teach and perform, receiving the Individual Artist Program grant from the Chicago's Department of Cultural and Special Events in 2020, and starting from 2008, many Illinois Arts Council Ethnic Folk Arts Master Apprentice grants. And also, we know Fujima Sensei because he is always doing some amazing performances throughout Chicago. If you haven't caught any yet, Shubukai is something you should definitely be checking out. But I will stop for now and then gush over them again when we come to a close. But without more words from me, maybe Fujima Sensei and Yoshinojo Sensei, you'd like to speak more for yourselves as you kind of cut from the same cloth.
Okay. So thank you for having us, and I always look forward to having an excuse to ask Sensei questions that normally wouldn't be allowed, or that's the pedagogy kind of thing happening. But just to kind of harken back to what Seira-san said, for the Natori, that's the stage name that when you're training with a teacher in a certain style of Japanese classical dance, you then receive your stage name. So the surname would be, in our case, it's the Fujima school, so Fujima, and then you have to petition to what you choose for what your stage name would be. And then, because no one can have the same name, no 2 people can have the same name. And then what's really interesting is that the lineage shows in the names. So my teacher, he, as you read, it was Shusai Sensei was his teacher. So when he received his stage name, he receives the Shu, the kanji for Shu. So he's Shunojo. And then when I received my stage name from him, I have the Nojo part, so I'm Yoshinojo. So that in the eventuality that if I had a student to get a stage name, they're gonna use the Yoshi part of my name, and then you can see who taught whom, and the lineage is very apparent.
That's so interesting. I had no idea. That's really helpful too, because you probably heard me trip up over your names many times. That makes a lot of sense though, and that's really clever. That's interesting. Yeah, and Natori, I was not familiar with that term either. So
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's just saying taking a name, right? So you are
Mm-hmm.
receiving the name of the school, and then you are bound to respect and work within the conventions of the school, which it's not like there's something, chiseled on a wall somewhere, but, you know, um, you are more responsible for your actions because you are now a representative of the school,
Mhm.
right? Through your lineage, right? So.
Right. Among the information that was shared, I heard Shubukai mentioned. For me, Shubukai is it's not the first time I've heard it, but this might be the first time that some of our community in chat is hearing about Shubukai. Are you able to share what that is all about? And I can post a link in chat for others to be able to also catch up in learning about it.
Yeah, first is Shubukai meaning things. Shu is my name. Shunojo no Shu. And then my is dance. Then I want to Kai it means a recital group. That is the first time did it in the Shubukai. And always I think it's in the I do the female uh, performing. It's because I on the stage under my teacher's house at 16 years old, and then stay 4 years training. But 6 months I couldn't training for dance. I do it's give a teacher for tea or clean a house.
Mhm.
It looks like a maid type thing. That is I have almost 5 men. It's there, stays in the teacher's house, and I'm a youngest one. And then he wanted to training me female role because the other is the old one. It's the most male character. And the first time I did a dance is a female, and he's a recital. The since almost 5 or 10 years, could always female roles. And I'm so lucky to because my teacher is he's young, he's a kabuki actor, and then he growing and he want to change to his Japanese dancing teacher. And I so lucky to because in the always not just in the dancing, I'm dancing in the talk we said that Serifu looks like Kabuki style. And that is a training for me. And then I came here, it's almost nothing. I don't have anything because in the Japan, you pay for, you have a professional makeup artist and the wig and the costume, everything that we renting, they cost money. And I came here 1972, and after the, maybe 1976, I'm going to start dancing. And because some of the people said, what do you dance? People did in Japan. I'm a dance teacher. And then that time I have the Japan to be notorious there. And then I have come here to uh, start to dance. And then that time it's probably everybody see is a male dancer, dance the male and the female. And then people say to kabuki actor, I said, no, I'm not a kabuki actor. I'm a classical Japanese dancing because I don't want to use it for kabuki name. So easy for them here. It's very popular. It's kabuki. But I don't want to kabuki because I'm not come from the kabuki actor. I'm come to Japanese dancing. This is almost 10 years. I'm so fighting to myself because nobody didn't know anything about Japanese dance.
Mm.
You know, and they I'm just keep going. And then sometimes I want the same dance. It's 24 times a year I dance. And I mentioned to some of the friends that why I have to dance at 24, dancing every time. I'm not a robot. And then he said to me, if you don't dance, who know you? And then it looks like I'm, slapped in my face. Oh, I have to do it myself because this is the United States, different than Japan. That is just really understudy. And then I'm lucky to have a, student, not only is there, and then the Shihan, teacher there. I'm so lucky. I'm really always feeling that I'm so lucky to do the dance. The most important is behave manner. That is important for me more than anything. If they don't do it, I don't take it as students from me because we're losing for culture. I don't want to do this. And I came here and I'm so lucky because I do jazz, dance, and the taiko and shamisen and the opera and the Madame Butterfly I did it, because here it's everything come to me. I think I take the chance, good or bad. You don't do it, you don't know. The more important is audience. Every time, how many times you same stage dance? I'm over to dance. I'm a beginner to take you to the stage. That is me. That's right. I think I'm lucky.
Well, I think we're lucky to have you here in Chicago. I think that goes without saying. Goodness, we're so lucky. And, we're also lucky for, your endurance and, making sure that you can carry these things along. I think your point about, Onnagata being so tied to kabuki and less so to classical dances is a really great one. And I hope that, through our conversations today, people can learn a little bit more about that whole part of the arts that seems to be less understood. So it's a wonderful opportunity to have you here with us and to hear all of your insights. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we jump into a few more questions here, let's use this opportunity to share with chat one of the videos that we have showing some of the performances, and then get into some more conversation. How's that sound?
Sounds great to me.
Let's go. Alrighty. Chat, let's see here. Let me get things pulled up for you. What you're about to see is Fujima Sensei's Kokami a few minutes from this, and then we will transition into some more conversation. So let's see here.
Can I do a preamble to this Kurokami so that people can get the most out of this?
Yeah.
So Sensei, this was when we were performing at Ruth Page Center for the Arts last year. It's suodori, so like when we saw with Shiratori Sensei, it's no costume, but you're in a kimono, right? And it's very difficult. It's a challenge for the dancer because you can't hide under the kimono, under an 8-pound wig, right? Not that that's, not difficult either, but all your techniques and everything is laid bare. And so he's dancing Kurokami, which is a woman who has made a sacrifice. It's originally taken from a kabuki play. It's one scene, but she's lamenting that she has lost her love or has been unrequited love. You're not quite sure. It's very open to interpretation, but it's a woman dancing. He uses a tea cloth and also a fan. And I think it just will give a really good encapsulated shot of Onnagata.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Without further ado.
Sorry, because I was watching that performance. And we're back. So we just wanted to bounce back really quickly. We're so sorry to cut you off on that video. I'm pretty sure we could share it another way if you really did want to see the whole performance. But Yoshinojo Sensei wants to give us a brief introduction of another performance just because we're still short on time. So I will let you take it away.
Thank you. So the next footage that you're going to see is Asagao Ichi, and he's in full costume and makeup. And this was in Sendai, Japan. That it's the Morning Glory. It's a yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Hi. So it's a geisha, and she's just bought the Morning Glories, and it's about she had just happened to bump into a past flame, and she's reminiscing, and it's one of those. But what's really cool is that it is the full-on Onnagata performance. So it's in Sendai, Japan. Please enjoy some of it, then we can talk.
without further ado.
We can come back.
I'm muted. Christine, yes, we really love your enthusiasm too. And so Yoshinojo Sensei, can we share these links with everyone?
Yes.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you very much. Thank you. So also I just want to let everyone know that I know we're running a touch. We're feeling like the time crunch. So I gave Van a boop and we have an extra 5 minutes. So just to kind of give us a little room to breathe if we need it. So yeah, those performances were amazing and I really wish we had more time. But I guess there might be some in chat who have some questions about those performances. But also I think that these were really great examples to show us because I think I can really see how this performance works and how, you know, the real femininity behind all of those movements. And, you know, with or without the wig, you know, we can really see, you know, the technique and the performance of that. I wonder if Fujima Sensei, if you have any kind of overarching thoughts about what it is to portray a woman and how you what are those techniques based on, or kind of who built them and how do you add to them? This is a lot of questioning. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's every time I do female, and before I'm a makeup, nobody around me because I do it before the wax and the white makeup going. That time I want to be character, you know, geisha or young girls or whatever. And I don't want it to land me, to bother me. Because you get your lighting for eyebrow or eye and lip, that time it's really I'm concentrate. Because here, you know, before the Shiratori-san say, you know, 1 hour takes it to do it, but that is the Japan style. But here, audience can't take it that much long. Yeah, and I think I do, you know, makeup and the costume and then somebody helped me to all be tied up, her doing, and the 20 minutes, and I have to go to stage. But that is going to distance. I want to be more characters going, and then you go into stage because for me, it's the audience, and audience is very important for me. Doesn't matter one person or 100 persons there, but one person really deeply watch me to performing. I want to do for her or him.
秀才先生から特に女方の時、女を踊る時特別なことを講師の大臣何かありました？
No, I don't think it's my teacher didn't say anything to how to movement or techniques.
You basically watch, right?
Yeah.
Vicarious. They're not going to say, make sure you do this. Like in this day and age, in the age of information, right? It's very much data-based and you latch onto that. But old school style is you just watch and learn, right? They say.
And then it's a funny thing is that you watch it still techniques. They are not teaching you how to do this. That is we are learning, and we in it in the stage and the school. We can communication for in the room. Just we talk and each other, or maybe he wanted to tea, or what he wanted to be. We eye contact with my friend. That kind of system is in the before, because at that time it's in my teacher is 45 years old. It's really powerful, and I'm so lucky I came here. I don't have anything, no wig, and kimono either. And everybody helped. And all the girls come in, don't cut your hair because we make it to Japanese style.
Work it out. Yeah.
Yeah, and the kimono, it's in it's in the, not a professional people, all the mothers
Yeah.
to give me hand. It's in before the recital. We are 2 o'clock morning still sewing, and I have a machine sewing machines, and I doing, yeah, that kind of things. Now I'm so lucky to have this kind of thing before. And we are now lucky because we have a wig and the kimonos and everything, but that time is really, we do not have anything, but little by little, because for me, I don't care what kind of kimono I will wear. Old one, doesn't matter. But a student is very important for me. They go to stage, they have a highlight. That time, that's why always I'm thinking, just to tell student, mistake, everybody do it. But don't stop, just keep going.
That's wonderful advice.
Yeah, and then you do best you can. That is always I said, don't stuck up. I'm gonna show that kind of feeling. I don't like it. Just you do it best.
Yeah. No, that's great advice. Yeah. I think that's applicable to so many people and so many things, certainly. And I know Christine in chat has been just asking so many questions and wanting to chime in. So I really want to make sure that they have some space to at least ask one of them to you. They're so curious. Derek, did you happen to catch the first one?
Oh yes, I did. So I made a mental note about where it was. So the first question from Christine, and yes, again, Christine, thank you for lofting these questions into chat. We super appreciate them. For Fujima Sensei, Christine asks, how did the Chicago audiences react to Nihon Buyo when you first began performing in America?
First, it's I think I'm a male, and they never see a male dancer. And then I first did performing for Chicago. It's an international flower show. That time, some of the members, she said, we don't have any show to do it. And then one of the ladies said, no, I have a male teacher, dance teacher here. And then everybody said, no, I don't think so.
Mm.
Then I did a performance. And then that is the first step for me. And the audience is so exciting. For me, I don't know anything about it. Then I go to performing for the Triton College dinner show. Then we were performing. Then people see my dance. Oh, I wanted to learn in dance, but I don't have any school or anything. Then I said, oh, maybe I have to, open a school. That is the beginning for me. And then now I'm feeling things is just I'm lucky. And the student, their family supported for me, and the other friends to really supported for me. And that is really appreciated. If we didn't have I didn't have a now, I couldn't teach
Mhm.
dance.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for answering that. I think borrowing from Christine's second question, based on what you just said, it sounds as though you receive as much fulfillment in dancing as you do teaching. Would it be fair to ask that?
I think myself is really, I don't know exactly answer because I danced to this year's 45 years. I danced so many different characters that dance, male, female. Only I feel that I did it. It's just two numbers. That's it. 45 years, two numbers. I did it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Satisfied because 両方とも詐欺娘だ。
So the two dances that he felt that he was very satisfied, it's Sagi Musume. So it's one of the three big epic dances that if you were, I'd say if you were a teacher that you need to know or have performed.
Mhm.
And it's typically used for your like when you get your stage name, when you debut or you what is it called, the celebratory dance that you do when you get your stage name. It's typically one of three, so kagami jishi, uh dojoji, or sagi musume. So being onnagata, I mean, sagi musume is the one, the white heron maiden, right? And so he's saying twice. I've heard his stories. I'll let him fill in. But every decade of his life, he's performed it once. So when he was in his 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 70s. So yeah, so he's commented on how upon entering each decade and dancing that same piece, because it's a monumental, it's a long piece, and you need a lot of stamina and just a lot of energy to get through it and still be the onna, to play the woman. But I'm just parroting what he said, right? This is not
Mhm.
but
いや、華やかじゃないから。
yeah, it's not like this cutesy, frolicky kind of woman thing. It's much more subtle and
Yeah.
yeah. So and it's a very
ドラマチック dance.
yeah, it's a very dramatic dance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And after that, she's a bird queen, and then she loves someone, but she have a wedding kimonos and they're all white, pure white kimono at the beginning. Then switch for the black kimono, and then switch for maybe 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
And after that, held, burning for her, and she wanted, die. That kind of thing is really I like it.
Yeah, so the character actually dies at the end. So, and it's pretty much, when I've seen any level of student performing this, you really do feel dead because you've poured your energy into the piece. So when they're down, it's like, okay, they're finished, and but it's just amazing, the artistry that is, presented through all the changes. He's mentioned, it's a kimono change. So white kimono, then it's a black kimono, and then a pink one or a red one. Yeah. So the character, the emotion changes as the costume changes. And it just and if you have the props and you're lucky, you have snow that falls. um yes. So
Sounds beautiful.
I like that kind of things, acting, how you prove or not. Every time you dance, you not prove anything, always mistake going, that's why I like it. I did it at the Sangimusume here, Chicago twice, and the Japan twice, and I loved that dance.
When will we be able to see that again?
You kidding?
No, I'm serious. I would love to
No,
see.
it's coming to 80
yeah,
this May.
You can do it.
right. So we're celebrating the 45th anniversary this year, which we will stream. We just want to take into consideration just, all the COVID considerations and such. So it will be a streamed performance, but we have to keep pushing so that for the 50th anniversary, right, we'll have him perform this. And as he said, he'll be an octogenarian, or would have entered that realm. But I don't think there'll be a problem.
We're counting on it. We're really counting. We won't take no for an answer because you've really just sold us on how beautiful this is, and now we must see it.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
So I guess the next opportunity to see a full performance for Sensei and myself is April 10th. We have a series that I created called Revitalizing Tradition. And it was for the exact reason that he was saying, right? Here in America, in Chicago, you do not have a wig vendor, a kimono stylist, a makeup artist, the musicians, the stage, the proper helpers at all. It was everything is done in-house. We have to do it. He did a lot of it. And now, we're doing more. But seeing this as I trained with him, that, traditionally the teacher does the opening act and the finishing act. And in between, he's running around doing all this stuff. So I thought, I wish I could see him when he doesn't have to worry about the other students, all of us, right? So started Revitalizing Tradition. It originally was him only doing two dances, one male, one female, and then having a lecture and talking about it. So we're in the 14th season of Revitalizing Tradition. Would have been 15, but we didn't do it last year.
Yeah.
So Sensei will be performing Suisen Tanzen, and I'll be performing Ayame. So that will be the next chance.
I want to say, I know we have links and images for this performance that we can share with you all because we would hate for you to miss this. What a cool opportunity. And we knew this coming into this episode that we'd have this really wonderful program to share with you to follow up on all of these conversations so you can just really see it. And what we didn't mention in the beginning, or what I failed to mention in the beginning, is also that Yoshinojo Sensei is actually a resident artist at the Japanese Arts Foundation. So we are so grateful for all of her skills. And, we've been focusing on, so many people here. We need a whole episode just for Yoshinojo Sensei as well. But she has put so much work into bringing this episode together. And we've spent so many conversations, and I'm just so grateful for all of her contributions. And she also teaches Nihon Buyo at the Japanese Culture Center. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, wow, I would really love to try this out myself, or like just see what it's like by getting on the inside of it rather than just watching it from the outside, you can always join a class. They're happening virtually, and perhaps, I don't know what's happening about in person, but we still offer them virtually, and you can learn more about that at the Japanese Culture Center. So japaneseculturecenter.com, or you can reach out to us too, because of course I'm somewhere behind that curtain. I can help you.
We have the links.
But yeah, so there's just a plethora of resources here for you to learn more about Nihon Buyo, Takarazuka now as well, and Shubukai. Shubukai is such a resource in Chicago, and I know that maybe not everyone is in Chicago, but if you are, there is absolutely no reason not to know about this wonderful organization.
Absolutely. I think that there are some other questions that I would love to get into from chat, but I believe we have probably reached the end of our show and are transitioning into our City Pop Hour. But Fujima Sensei, Yoshinojo Sensei, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and letting our audience know about Nihon Buya. Yeah. Yes, I was gonna say. I was gonna say there's more. There's so much more to thank everyone here for. Yoshinojo Sensei, thank you so much for translating. Kawaguchi-san, thank you so much for sharing your memories with us. It was wonderful to hear from all of you, and I look for every opportunity to get to speak to any one of you again. Yoshinojo Sensei, we talk, so and we'll be chatting more. But yes, thank you so much. 本当にありがとうございました
Yeah, yeah.
So appreciate it.
We appreciate you. Gosh, and we hope we can do more things like this. It's just so obvious that everyone is so interested, and as we are, which is always the result we're looking for. And I've been chatting with Van, so we're okay. He's being so patient. And since we have a few minutes, another thing I just kind of wanted to know today on Tokyo House Party is if you are subscribed to our newsletters at the Culture Center and the Arts Foundation, you would have received a letter from me earlier this week. And I just wanted to touch on that a little bit, far less articulate at this hour and this day, outside of letter form. Just to note that, it is not, we're very aware of things happening outside in our world right now and how difficult things are. And as the Japanese Culture Center and the Japanese Arts Foundation, and by extension, Tokyo House Party, we see our role, if any, in improving the future and doing something about racial tolerance and indifference through education. So it's really through these kinds of programs. It's really through you all coming and showing up and being interested in learning about other cultures that maybe aren't your own, and hand to hand and screen to screen as it is at this moment. I really feel that this is the way that we can make the changes that are really important together. So I just want to applaud all of you for sticking with us and learning about new things. And I hope to see you more soon. And of course, if you are looking for that letter I sent out, which has a whole list of other resources here in Chicago, if you're interested in learning more about the Asian and Asian American experience here in Chicago through different organizations, I made a non-comprehensive list there. I can send it back out. So if someone reaches out, I'm happy to send it to you, such as the Japanese American Service Committee. So we have so many wonderful partners that are here to help you learn more about other cultures here in Chicago. So
Absolutely. Perfectly said.
Long-winded, but yes, in a letter it was so much easier because I could just pre-draft everything. But yes, but yeah, the timeliness, it's difficult not to say anything at this moment. So and you will find more programs from us coming up that will more directly address these kinds of topics, because we think they're very salient right now and important. So all of that being said, thank you all again. And without too much more ado, we've had Van waiting in the wings to start his DJ set, and he was thinking about what he could possibly contribute to this wonderful conversation in terms of his set design. And so he chose some Mono no Oware kind of vibes and is going for Cherry Blossom Rain. So you will see his performance next. And thank you all again for coming to Tokyo House Party newsletter. We have one for Tokyo House Party. You can sign up on our website, where you can also donate or subscribe to this Twitch channel. And you can sign up for the Japanese Culture Center newsletter on our website as well.
Yes. Lofted those links into chat. And I think that's a great way to go out to let you folks know that Tokyo House Party is brought to you by the Japanese Arts Foundation, nonprofit organization. By subscribing yourself or gifting subscriptions to our channel, you're directly supporting the JAF and keeping this show on the road. And so once again, thank you to everyone who had joined. Thank you, Fujima Sensei, Yoshinojo Sensei, everybody who has come into the... I'm so sorry. Sarah, what did you say?
Kawaguchi-san.
Kawaguchi, yes.
Mo.
Mochiron. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much to everybody who has joined. And I will pass the torch to Van. Are we going to have Van join us briefly before starting their segment, or should we pass the show onward?
I think he's ready. Van's ready, and I hope you're all ready for some City Pop. If this is your first time trying out City Pop, this is a nice way to close out your night, I promise.
Yes. The channel, so if you're new to, I'll keep it very succinct. If you're new to Twitch, the thing that we do here at the end of each episode is that we send our audience over to Van's channel, who goes by the name Sentimental Tokyo. That is their own Twitch channel, and so if you want to see more of their content, they do live DJ sets following Tokyo House Party, but also have like a City Pop playlist that is playing regularly on their Twitch channel. And so once we forward things over there, absolutely give them a follow, absolutely set those subscriptions and all the things that help support other Twitch channels. And that's all for now.
Yeah. Thank you all so much.
See you around.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.